Hello and welcome everyone to our virtual webinar on crypto scams. Thank you for joining us today. We are excited to have you here. This will be an opportunity for us to learn from each other and grow together. First, let me introduce myself. My name is C.A. Riddhi Jain and I qualified Chartered Accountancy exams in November 2022. Currently, I am working in Genpact India Private Limited as in corporate FP&A and I will be your moderator for today. Let's take a moment to introduce our guest speakers. First, CA Vivek Shah, practicing chartered accountant from Mumbai, specialized in crypto advisory, international taxation, and forensic audit. Mr. A.K. Prabhakar, 32 years experience in Indian stock market and head of research in IDBI Capital Markets and Securities Limited. I want to thank our speakers for taking the time to share their knowledge and giving real life examples to us. To make sure we are helping to you as best as we can, we have a chat box to collect your questions. Feel free to drop questions on the topic. We will answer your questions by the end of the session. Before starting the session, I would like to invite Chairman of this committee, CA Charanjot Singh Nanda ji, to provide a keynote on the session. I think he is not available to us now. So I am glad to welcome CA Vivek Shah, who is selected as an international speaker by ICAI for UAE tax laws. He is an advisor to various crypto and Web3 from startup to public limited companies on Indian Stock Exchange, spread over 16 countries. CA Vivek Shah will come some real life cases to educate us.
Sure. Thank you very much, C.A. Riddhi Jain, for the introduction. And I would like to thank the chairman, the vice chairman, the secretary, and all the members at ICAI for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge with all of you all on this platform. So, friends, the topic that is allotted to me is crypto scams. And the reason why I would be talking about scams and covering scams is because cryptocurrency is something that we cannot avoid as things are moving right now. And since there's a lot of money involved, there are a lot of scams that also take place. Having said that, I think it is important for us as chartered accountants to advise our clients or our companies or our members in a manner where we can safeguard the rights and interests of all of them in a manner in which it is in the best interest for everyone. When we talk about crypto scams, there are since this is a new age technology and this is an emerging technology, the scams are also still emerging. So I cannot say that everything that we'll discuss over today covers all types of scams. But of course, what we will discuss today in this webinar will definitely cover most of the types of scams. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box. Sirthi, if there are any questions that come up, please feel free to ask as and when they come. I'm absolutely happy to take questions as and when they come also. And definitely, if not as and when, then definitely at the end of the program, I would love to answer most of the questions that come up in the chat box.
Yeah, sure.
So friends, as we move forward with the presentation, this is, I'll just adjust my screen a little bit. Yeah. So as far as the types of scams are concerned, what I will do is I will first discuss what are the different types of scams that are there, which are known and which are taking place at a very fast pace. Then we go and understand what are the reasons for these scams to take place. Further, we will talk about the reporting requirements and how a particular scam has to be reported, and what are the legal hurdles that a person faces once a scam has taken place. You know, this is where I think we chartered accountants can add a lot of value to our clients and also to our companies where we're working. And finally, what is the role of regulators as far as these scams are concerned? So this is the brief outline of today's session that I'm going to take from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And I would rather than it being a monologue, I'll be very happy and very glad to address your concerns, because there are very few people who actually go in depth as far as crypto scams are concerned. And I will say I was privileged to advise various law enforcement agencies and Ministry of Finance as well on money laundering scams that are happening through cryptocurrencies. So to begin with the different types of scams, let's understand which are the types of scams And let us understand the risk involved in merely trading with cryptocurrencies. So when we trade with cryptocurrencies also, there is an inherent risk, and that risk is something that we need to address as chartered accountants. First and foremost is that awareness is the key, and I always emphasize that first you should know that what is the risk associated with the kind of asset class that you're dealing with. Virtual digital assets, as they're largely classified in India as VDAs under the Indian taxation system, they are inherently highly risky in nature. Just sharing a very small, very important but small statistic which was issued by the Interpol is that there are more than 10,000 cryptocurrencies across the world which are recognized. There are many more which are not even recognized, but at least there are 10,000 cryptocurrencies which are recognized that they are cryptocurrencies. Out of those 10,000 cryptocurrencies, according to the Interpol, in the report which was issued somewhere last year, they said that almost 82% of all cryptocurrencies turned out to be scams. Now that itself speaks volumes about the type of scams that are happening. So, and this is an official report issued by the Interpol, which has clarified this and which has given this statistic. And what you see on a screen are the different types of scams that are taking place in cryptocurrency. I will talk about each of them in detail as I go to them. So let's begin with the type of scams. First and foremost, and which is the most common in India, are MLM crypto scams, which is a multi-layer marketing crypto scam. What happens in this is that a person will approach you and will ask you to join a particular business proposal. So they will never say that it is an investment or an investment in a crypto for that matter. They will always tell you that there is a very good business proposal. And in order to enter and make money out of that business proposal, you have to first invest in a particular cryptocurrency. And then there's a huge story and a narrative which runs around it where they say that, agar aapko business karna hai, if you want to do business, you have to first make an investment. There is no business that you can do without making an investment. So first and foremost, they will try to trap you by asking you to invest in that particular cryptocurrency. Once you invest in that cryptocurrency, okay, they will promise you certain type of returns also. They will also tell you that, if you get more people into this scheme or this scam, you will get a 20% payout, 30% payout, 40% payout, 50% payout, or whatever is the amount invested by the other person. And this is a multi-layered scam and a multi-level marketing scam. It is an MLM scam. And a few cryptocurrencies which are operating out of India, homegrown cryptocurrencies also. I will not say that whether they're legal or illegal, but they call themselves as cryptocurrencies, which are homegrown cryptocurrencies, and they make you sign an affidavit. They make you sign an undertaking that you will not approach any high court or any other judicial authority, and you are giving your consent to be a part of this multi-layer marketing scheme. They don't call it scam, but I call it scheme. So it is an MLM scam. Sorry, they don't call it as a scam. They call it as a scheme. So as far as multi-level MLM scams are concerned, they also take an affidavit from you. So make sure that so these are the red flags and these are the checks and balances which you should have before entering in any kind of a multi MLM scheme or scam. Under MLM schemes, there are a lot of people who also approach clients and the clients will come to you, or your companies will come to you and they will ask you for your opinion on what should you do as far as these MLM schemes are concerned. I think as a chartered accountant, it is only prudent on our part to explain the risks associated. During my articleship, my partner once told me a very important line, and I think I still carry it with me wherever I go. My client said that, Vivek, you should never ask any proprietary questions to your client. That why are you investing? How are you investing? For what are you investing? You should only check whether the investment is done in a legal manner or not, as far as investments are concerned. So again, I think we should not get into the nitty-gritties of what kind of a scam is it when our clients ask for opinion, because then that may be termed as financial or investment advice. So always be clear and give a disclaimer to your clients that this is not financial or legal advice. And always make sure that you're not the one who's insisting a particular person to invest, because whenever the scam goes bust, it is very easy for clients to turn hostile and clients to blame a chartered accountant and file a complaint against a chartered accountant. And then it becomes a matter with various law enforcement agencies. So always be prudent in the advice that you give. And as chartered accountants, yes, we must first explain what could be the risk associated with whichever scheme or scam our clients get to us, or that our companies get to us, and then once they've understood the associated risk, it is purely and purely their personal decision whether to invest or not invest in any particular asset class, let alone crypto. The second type of scams that are happening, again, many of them are also associated with MLM scams, are high returns on investments. Now, when I say high returns, they don't talk in returns per annum or per month. They talk about returns per day. So there were multiple people who approached me, and almost on a weekly basis, I keep on getting calls from people who say that they're getting extremely high returns, and the returns are so phenomenal that a person will lure you with something like 2% per day or 3% per day. So that is to say that if you've kept your money invested for 33 days or even 30 days on a compounding basis, or less than 30 days on a compounding basis, you would have doubled your money in less than 1 month at 3% per month, 3% per day. So these are the kind of returns that a person will assure you. And how this happens is, I'll give a practical example. One particular client approached me and he told me that somebody has asked him to invest in a particular cryptocurrency scheme where a person would get 3% per day as returns. So I knew it was a scam, so I didn't bother much, but I just told him that, I straight away gave him advice that this seems to be a scam, so please stay away from that. But still, he insisted that I should listen to him very peacefully and patiently, and then give an opinion. So I said, nevertheless, he could come over to my office and he could explain what was the scheme. So he got that particular person who was the scamster, or maybe one of the agents of the scamster, along with him to my office, and they started the explanation in this particular way. So the first thing that they say is that this is not an MLM scheme or an MLM scam. That's the first thing that they say. I think that also is a red flag. Second thing that they say is that then they start with a narrative and a story that making money is so difficult. It's not like old times where making money in business is easy. Times are getting difficult, expenses are getting high, everyone wants more income. That's the way they build that narrative, and that's the way they build a story around you, and they try to rake in emotions. So they play with the psychology of the person, and that's the beginning of the scam. Then they will go ahead and they will tell you that you cannot make money without investing. So you've got to invest only that much money that you can keep aside for yourself to invest in new and emerging businesses. So I was very patiently listening to him. Little did he know that I'm an advisor to various law enforcement agencies. So I gave a very patient hearing and heard out all the points. Then the person said that you get 3% per day. So I just asked him a few very basic questions. I said that firstly, I asked him that where are you all registered? So they said, no, we are not registered in India because aapko pata hai, India mein it is not legal nor is it illegal. So I said, okay, fine, but then where are you registered? Was my very simple question. So they said, no, actually we are not registered in India. And he just kept on running around the bush without giving a concrete answer. But then finally they said that they were registered in some Caribbean island. Jurisdictions where running your own cryptocurrency is legal. So they were registered in the Caribbean islands, where most of the cryptocurrency businesses and projects get registered. So they were also registered in one of the Caribbean islands. Then my second question was that, how can we send money over there? Would we send money through ODI Part 1, or would we send money under LRS? So he said, no. You cannot invest in cryptocurrency like this. You will get tracked, and then you'll have to pay TDS to the government and whatnot. So I told him, but then how do you propose we'll send money to your company? Because ultimately we have to send money to your company. So then they said that, no, there are multiple ways by which you can invest. You don't necessarily have to invest by remitting money through a bank account. हम आपको अलग तरीके से भी availability करवा के दे देंगे. So I asked in detail, I said, please, if you could explain a little freely, because I'm unable to understand what are you trying to propose. So he said, no, actually we take money in cash. We don't take money by check or through bank transfers. So try and understand that there is no money trail at all. So even if you wanted to complain, how would you complain and where would you complain, or where would you file your FIR, and what evidence do you have in such cases? So all of these are just red flags where the scamster is trying to ensure that there is no trail of money. There is absolutely nothing on record to prove or to suggest that you had actually invested money in a particular cryptocurrency. Then I said, okay, fine, that if a person still wants to invest through a bank, how can they? So they said, no, we do not allow in our cryptocurrency because we are a growing business and whatnot. He gave multiple reasons to not take money through banking channels. Then the next question that I asked was that how do you give returns of 3% per day? I said it's really perplexing because banks give 5 to 6% per annum, that too in rupee terms. And how do you manage to give 3% per day? So, the story that they say is that we make much more money, but we will give you only 3% per day. So I said, fine, that's interesting, but can you tell me what do you do? So they said that, we invest in other crypto projects, we invest in currency markets, in derivatives and whatnot. And we make more than 5 to 6% or 7% per day. So we are very happy to share 3% with you. I went ahead and asked them that if you're not registered in India, then where do you invest? So they're like, no, this happens in the global market and we cannot disclose our strategy to you. It is confidential. It's our intellectual property. So I said, yes, that's interesting. But if you're making 7% per day, then I think everyone in the world should just be doing that. Why should someone not do what you're doing? Well, why do business? Why run financial institutions? If you are doing everything in cash, why have banks in the first place? Then the narrative changes, and then the person says that, we are not insisting you to invest. When you start confronting them, they will take a back foot. They'll go on the back foot and they'll say that, no, we are not telling you to invest. Invest only if you trust us. अगर आपको हम पे भरोसा है तो ही पैसा दीजिए, वरना पैसा मत दीजिए. Do not invest in anything. We are not forcing you to invest. If you want to make money, you've got to accept our terms and conditions. So I said, fine, that's fine. Let's let me think over it and let me get back to you. And the concluding remark that they said is that, you should invest only that much money that you can afford to lose. I said, I think I've got the gist of the program of your scheme, and thank you very much for dropping by. But I don't think my client would be investing in anything which is so suspicious. I also asked them that how would they give 3% per day? I said that, okay, so after 30 days, can I withdraw all the money that is paid to you? They said, no, you cannot withdraw the money because that money is locked in for 3 years. I said, okay, that's another red flag. I said that, okay, fine, but what if I want to just remove my principal? It's okay, you keep the interest with you, but I want to remove the principal. So that the principal is also locked in for 3 years. So I kind of explained to my client after the meeting that, this is a scam. The person will just lure you to get more people in the scheme. And once you've got people in the scheme, in hope of high returns, you will also get more people to come and join in. And one fine day, maybe they'll just they have a particular app on which you can track what is the total value of investment. I said, it's just a number. You will not get any tangible benefits and you will never be able to withdraw any money that you've ever paid them over the course of time. So this is how multiple MLM related scams happen. And of course, most of the schemes will have that aap kisi aur ko leke aaye, get some more people to join this, and we will return 25% of the money invested by the other person. So these are red flags, and as I told you, they don't work only on a financial level. They also try to invoke emotions. So human emotion is something which is so susceptible that a person who is wanting to make quick money, or a person, I don't know if greedy is the correct word, but for lack of another word, when a person gets greedy, they generally fall for these kind of schemes and scams. The third type of scam is more of an institutionalized scam, which I would like to talk about, which is a centralized exchange scam. Now, let's understand crypto is a decentralized technology, and centralized exchanges means the exchanges which are registered. So they are registered somewhere, and then there are something called as decentralized exchanges. So one, centralized exchanges and then decentralized exchanges. Decentralized exchange means an exchange which is not owned, managed, and controlled by one particular person, party, or company. So on decentralized exchanges, there is lesser control of any person to monitor transactions or to check what kind of transactions are being done, or whether KYC is done or not done. On most decentralized exchanges, there is no KYC requirement. Whereas when you talk about centralized exchanges, they either have an option whether they are KYC'd exchanges or non-KYC'd exchanges. A lot of homegrown exchanges you must have heard of. You must have seen full page advertisements. You must have seen 30-second videos of them on multiple streaming platforms. You must have seen you must have seen television advertisements. You must have seen a lot of influencers, well, self-proclaimed influencers or financial influencers promoting certain type of exchanges. Like really well-known and renowned names have promoted exchanges just and only for some minor money or endorsement fee that they would have got. So those are generally known as centralized exchanges. Think of the top 5 or top 10 names that you can think of in India, and definitely all of those are known as centralized exchanges in India. You must have seen advertisements on television, on YouTube, on multiple OTT platforms, on in leading newspapers as front cover page, full page advertisements. So those are centralized exchanges. So when I talk about centralized exchanges, these are the centralized exchanges that I'm referring to, and the scams that revolve around centralized exchanges are also very unique. There was one particular exchange which was registered again in India. And when I say which was registered in India, let me be abundantly clear. As an exchange, SEBI has not given permission to any of these exchanges to call themselves as an exchange. We as chartered accountants understand that to be called as an exchange, there are many criteria. Net worth criteria, experience criteria, number of directors that you have, number of shareholders you have, the paid up capital that you have. There are hundreds of criteria that you have to fulfill before you can call yourself as an exchange. And all of these people, whether centralized or decentralized, whoever is registered in India, they are centralized only. These centralized exchanges have taken the privilege and the right and the liberty to call themselves as exchanges. I fail to understand who has given them the permission and why is no regulator taking action against them when they call themselves as exchanges. So as far as centralized exchanges are concerned, the scams that started happening over there are, the first and foremost, they would be very opaque about the charges. Today, if you want to deal with any exchange, they are SEBI regulated, they are SEBI governed, they are monitored by multiple agencies and authorities, and multiple regulators also in some cases. But for these so-called, I call them so-called exchanges because they are self-assumed, self-governed, and self-proclaimed and self-regulated. There is no one who regulates them, there is no one who governs them, and still they have taken the liberty and the privilege to call themselves as exchanges. Having said that, now let me come to the scam. The first thing is that whenever you put your money on these exchanges through banking channels, through official banking channels, you swipe your credit card, you've loaded money through UPI or through NEFT, RTGS, bank transfer, or so on and so forth. Through whatever means, if you have loaded your money on that so-called centralized exchange or the top 5, top 10, or top 20 Indian so-called centralized exchanges, first and foremost, they will ask you to do your KYC, which you are very happy to do. There is absolutely nothing to hide. If you are doing an official transaction, paying taxes on that, there is nothing to hide. Why? There is no harm in linking your Aadhaar card and PAN card with these so-called exchanges. So once you've done that, they will then block your funds for want of more information. This has happened with multiple people on multiple exchanges. I will not name any because some of these exchange owners could also be attending today's program because I have personally sent invites to a few people. But having said that, on multiple exchanges and with multiple people, even in spite of giving all information, funds have been blocked in totality. So imagine I know a case of a particular person who had roughly 17 lakh rupees in crypto in one particular exchange, and the exchange said that we are blocking your funds for want of KYC. So the obvious response was that I'm willing to give my KYC. What's the harm? So she gave her KYC. She gave all information. They asked for income tax returns, bank statements, Aadhaar card, PAN card, driving license, utility bill. Because it was a matter of 17 lakh rupees, she was bound to give, and there was nothing to hide. She gave all information. In spite of that, that centralized exchange had the audacity to say that we will not return the money to you because we suspect that there is a fraud, or we suspect that there is a tax fraud. Now imagine, how can an exchange claim that they have become assessing officers? Who has given the power to these so-called exchanges to become assessing officers? If it is a tax fraud, let the income tax department get back to the person. So they illegally withheld the money and they refused to pay the money to her. She asked her husband to speak to the people, and they said that now we think that this is an identity fraud. First was a question of tax fraud, and then it eventually became something called as an identity theft or an identity fraud. The so-called self-regulated exchange claimed that if the crypto belongs to the wife, why is the husband talking? So this was the contention, and because of this, they did not give her money back. She had to fight She had to involve a lot of people in this. A lot of people tried to put pressure on that exchange. People reached out to the CEO of that exchange. People reached out as a community. A lot of people reached out to many people and expressed their opinions, stating that if this is not a financial bankruptcy, this is definitely a moral bankruptcy of that so-called self-regulated exchange. Again, I will refrain from naming them. And so these are the kind of scams that happen. And my only point is that cryptocurrency works on something called as blockchain technology, and blockchain technology is absolutely an open technology. When there is 100% transparency, these things will not work. And trying to deceive the investors, trying to withhold the funds of a person illegally, taking the position of a tax officer when they are not, nobody has given them the authority. The problem is that these kind of cases cannot be reported to SEBI. So this is the biggest problem that investors or crypto traders are facing in the country, that there is no single authority where you can take your grievances to, because SEBI has not given them the right to call themselves as exchanges. But still a normal person, a hardworking normal person, thinks that if this is an exchange, probably there is some regulator. Now you and I know that there is no regulator of such exchanges, and there is no mechanism to report this as a fraud, or there is no mechanism to report this to any regulatory authority. For example, if there is a credit card fraud, if your credit card company illegally charges you some money, such as joining fee, or illegally charges you renewal fee or whatever, you can fight it out with the credit card company. You can raise a complaint. If it is not addressed, you can go to the nodal officer of the bank or of the credit card company. If not, you can file a complaint with the RBI's banking ombudsman, and it works. I've tried it multiple times and it works. So there is some mechanism for crypto frauds or for crypto complaints or queries. There is no mechanism to report as on date. Let's move further. Let's move further as far as these crypto scams are exchange scams are concerned. Some exchanges said that we have lost our passwords or private keys. Password is like a private key, or private key is like a password. So the exchange says that we have lost our private keys, or our private keys have been hacked, or our private keys are compromised, and hence all the cryptos that were there in your accounts also have been stolen. So imagine if a SEBI regulated exchange, if a stock exchange says that we have lost all your shares because somebody has stolen the private keys or somebody has stolen our password. So this is an equivalent example of what happened to those centralized exchanges. So the second type of scam of centralized exchanges is where the private keys or the passwords or the place where all the cryptos were kept and parked in a pool account. The pool account got compromised, and because the pool account got compromised, all the cryptos of all the users were stolen. Now there are multiple analyses which were done. There are multiple organizations and agencies which try to look into it, which try to find a particular type of, which try to establish a link of the trail of cryptos. वो पैसा गया किधर? Where did the cryptos go eventually? Who was the ultimate beneficial owner of those cryptos after they were siphoned off? So in some cases, it was found that this was a deliberate attempt. Someone at a very high level, or probably of a level of a founder, was actively involved in this conspiracy. So these are the kind of scams that have happened. And then there have been genuine hacks of multiple exchanges. In some cases where the funds were hacked, where everything was stolen, it was a legitimate hack. It was a security lapse. It was a legitimate hack, but there was insurance. So the insurance companies made sure that the money was paid to the investors who had lost money, and there are some genuine cases of hacks that have taken place. But having said that, a lot of these cases, a lot of these hacks were actually engineered, manufactured, orchestrated. So these are the kind of scams that have happened in the past, and these are the kind of scams, and the amounts are huge. The amounts are huge. It runs into billions of dollars. Billions of dollars have been lost to centralized exchanges, and maybe equally billions of dollars have also been lost to such so-called decentralized exchanges as well. Next type of scam that I'm going to talk about right now is known as the phishing scam. Phishing scam is very similar to what happens actually in banks also. So, there are these fraudulent websites which look as if they're actually the bank's website, where you'll put in your user ID and password, and the next thing that you know is that the funds have been siphoned out of your account. So that is known as, so in phishing scams also, there will be certain exchanges whose websites will be cloned. There will be a minor difference in the name of that so-called exchange website and the phishing website. You will also get emails from multiple. Exchanges claiming as if you have to do your re-KYC, or you have to upload your user ID and password, or they will also send a message or email stating that your accounts are blocked. You have received some large amount of crypto. You have not done your KYC. You have not done your verification, and so on and so forth. So even when you receive these kind of emails, they will again try to play with the emotion, where they say that your funds are going to get blocked. So please unfreeze. Please click on this link in order to unfreeze your accounts. So this is a phishing scam. In phishing scam also, a lot of people have lost a lot of money. It is a very common kind of a scam, and most people who actually end up losing their money is because they click at on the wrong links, on unsafe links. My suggestion and advice to all of you all is that please install a good quality antivirus in your laptops, computers, servers, and mobiles. It is absolutely essential in today's day and age to protect yourself from any kind of cyber threat. And at a very affordable price, you can still have a very good solution. To that extent, let me also highlight one of the schemes which the institute has. Institute has done a tie-up with one particular antivirus company. You can go on the website and you can generate a code and probably activate the offer as well. But if not, please take a reputed antivirus and please install it on all the electronic devices that you use, and safeguard yourself against these kind of scams. And phishing scams can easily be detected once you have a particular antivirus installed on your electronic devices. Then comes something called as a seed phrase. Now, a seed phrase is like a password. It's a combination of words, 12 words or 16 words, as the case may be. So a seed phrase is like it's like your entry into your account. Let's take a hypothetical example. If you want to open a locker in your house, the key that you have that will give you access to your locker inside your house. So similarly, a seed phrase is something which will give you access to your vault, or access to your crypto assets or virtual digital assets. Even if you change your laptop, that's fine. Okay, you can still load the same crypto on another laptop by using the seed phrase. So a seed phrase is very important. It is unique for every user. It is unique for every wallet, crypto wallet, or a virtual digital asset wallet. And a lot of people, the mistake that they make in a seed phrase is that they will put it on WhatsApp, or they will take a picture of it, or they will email it to themselves. So these are all types of potential scams that by which you will lose your money. So seed phrase is something which probably is something which has to be stored in a manner which cannot get compromised electronically, not even physically for that matter, but definitely not electronically. So I'll give an example of a person that I know who lost around $220,000. A very good friend of mine in Dubai, he lost around $220,000 when I was there with him, and overnight all the money got siphoned off, and he didn't even realize. But after further investigation and after further finding the trail of what happened, is that he had taken a picture of the seed phrase which he saw on the screen. Okay, so he took a picture of that and emailed it to himself. And after that, his email account was hacked. Once the email account was hacked, okay, the hacker had access to all the emails, and hacker did not know whether he had emailed a particular seed phrase to him or not. So what the hacker started doing, what the hacker does is they deploy certain malicious viruses which will scan images and which will scan emails and words, and everything that is there in your email will be scanned within a matter of a few minutes. And whenever they find a particular sequence of words, either in and in the either in text form or in electronic form, they will start pulling all that data from your email, and that data will be compiled and will be given to the person who's hacked the particular account. Once that is established, once the person has the filtered data available, once the hacker has the filtered data, that data will be used to crack the particular seed phrase of a particular account. And you know what the hacker did is, the hacker left only $100 and siphoned off more than 220,000, approximately $220,000, everything out of that account, and left only $100 just as a nominal token. Now, if you think about it, could this have been prevented? I think the answer is certainly yes. This could have been prevented. If the seed phrase was not on any electronic device or on any digital device, this fraud could certainly have been prevented. I'll tell you what a lot of people do. You know, they take the seed phrase and they put it at one of the most secured places that they know inside their house to ensure that nobody has access to it. So even if you've kept it inside your locker, you lock it, make sure that it is not abundantly visible even inside the locker, hide it even inside the locker, lock the cupboard, and then and then also make sure that your key to your locker and your cupboard are safe and secured. So a lot of people are doing these things also. As far as seed phrases are concerned, again, people have lost billions of dollars. If you just check reports of how many $1 billion have been lost, you'll be astonished to know that the amount of money people have lost in crypto are probably much more than the total GDP of some countries. You know, so this is how crypto scams have taken place. Another scam that happens is that WhatsApp gets hacked. You know what will happen is, I'll tell you how this hacking happens. Of course, this is not just a very typical crypto scam, but this is a scam in general, and through which people have again lost billions of dollars because the seed phrases were there on WhatsApp. A very close friend of yours with whom you are regularly in regular touch, friend, colleague, family, or some person with whom you are in regular touch, will tell you to give a particular OTP. So the moment you give they will ask you to give your OTP, stating that your WhatsApp number acts as a recovery number for them. Or by whatever reason called, they will ask you to give an OTP, and the message will come to you on WhatsApp. If you try to call them, they will not answer the call, because if you talk to them, you will come to know that it's some hacker. They will not talk to you and say that it is extremely urgent and they cannot talk to you. So once you get an OTP, if you share that OTP, the moment you share that OTP, you lose access of your account, of your WhatsApp account. Once you've lost access of your account, again, the hacker deploys a malicious code or a malicious virus to scan through all your WhatsApp chats. And generally, in the most likely scenario, you would have sent the seed phrase to yourself only, you know, or you would have sent a seed phrase to someone whom you trust. So again, they scan all your WhatsApp chats, and within a matter of few minutes of your WhatsApp getting hacked, the hacker will have scanned all your chats, and whenever they find images which are similar to how a seed phrase looks on a computer screen, or a particular string of text or words, that information will pop up on the screen of the hacker, and the hacker will very easily take all the money out from your accounts at that time. So these are WhatsApp based scams where your WhatsApp will get hacked, and through that a lot of other things will also get affected. Now coming to the other type of scam is something related to a P2P scam. You know, P2P scam is basically person to person or peer to peer. In India we have something called as P2P lending, where one person lends money to another person, and again, it's an RBI regulated activity. P2P financing is regulated as on date. So a P2P scam is something very similar. Again, this has got something to do with hacking and digital forensics as well. Some person, one of my clients, in fact, for that matter, he sold crypto worth 2 crore rupees through a centralized exchange, well registered in India, through a centralized exchange in India. He sold crypto worth 2 crore rupees. He made a couple of crore rupees, so he sold it because he wanted to buy a house in Mumbai. So when he sold everything, okay, so so a P2P transaction happens in such a manner that an exchange as such is not involved. They only provide a platform where somebody wants to buy and somebody wants to sell, and ultimately the economics of demand and supply get matched and they do the transaction. So whenever you want, so when my client wanted to sell his crypto, let's say for example over 2 crore rupees, he put it up for sale. Whenever a buyer came and matched the price, he would buy. So he had put a sell price and then there was a buy price. Whenever they match, the transaction takes place. So he clicked on, he kept a certain amount of cryptos up for sale. Somebody came and bought. Now, who came and bought those cryptos, he doesn't know. But the only thing that he knows is that he's received money in his bank account. And once he confirms the receipt in his bank account, his crypto gets transferred into the buyer's account. So when he sold everything for 2 crore rupees, he never knew the identity of the one who was selling. He never had the KYC documents of the seller, of the buyer. The only thing that he knew that he was transacting on a platform provided by a company which is registered in India, and he assumed, and he had reasons to believe that that exchange would have done its due diligence. You know, like how would you know that that exchange would have not done anything? So the scam happened in this manner. He sells crypto for around 2 crore rupees, and 10,000 rupees worth of transactions that have happened and the money which has come in his account were from fraudulent sources. So somebody's bank account was compromised and somebody had lost money and that money came in his account. But the hacker, he gave a particular crypto wallet address which did not belong to the sender of the funds. So this is how the scam took place. Hope you all are following what I'm explaining, how the scam took place. The money is coming from some bank account, and you don't know who the person is, who is the person who's sending the money. And then the crypto is going in some other wallet, not belonging to the same person. So the crypto is going in the wallet of the hacker and the money is coming from the wallet of the victim. The victim happened to be from the state of Uttarakhand. So of course, the victim lodged a complaint in Dehradun with the cybercrime cell of Dehradun. My friend was sitting in Mumbai and he receives a notice from the cybercrime department of Uttarakhand State Police stating that you have received 10,000 rupees from Mr. So-and-so. Kindly explain how have you received, why have you received, what was the consideration? Because according to that department, it was a fraudulent transaction and hence it must be reversed. And if the person did not want to reverse, as in if my client or friend did not want to reverse that 10,000 rupees, he would have to provide all the details of how the transaction took place. Initially, my friend and my client, he ignored that notice. He said that it's okay, nothing to worry because it was done through a centralized exchange. One more case of a centralized exchange. So because it was done through a centralized exchange, he thought that he had nothing to worry about. Now he receives a second notice. And the second notice was not just a notice, it was a summon to appear in front of the police. So then the matter was a little serious and he roped me in that particular matter. And then I advised him on what was to be done. So on a no-name basis, I can share because my intention is to share knowledge with everyone. So what happened is that the state cybercrime department asked him to provide all information related to the person who had placed the order to buy, means the hacker. Now, my friend and my client never had all that information because he was dealing through a crypto exchange which was registered in India. So he thought that the person would have been a verified person. And as long as he got his money, he didn't mind transferring his crypto to any wallet number that was given to him. So he kept on transferring. That's how he transferred 10,000, which was a part of a much larger transaction of approximately 2 crores. So he kept on transferring money, and the opposite person, multiple people received money, right? So multiple people received crypto, and he received money from multiple people. Out of a 2 crore rupee transaction involving more than maybe let's say 200 entries or 300 entries or 500 entries in his bank statement, how do you expect a person to have all the details of people who are transferring money to him? So the department actually asked the details of the crypto that he sold, to whom did he sell, who were the people involved, how did he come to know of the exchange, why did he transact only through that exchange? So there were multiple questions and absurd questions. There were almost 42 points, 40 or 43 or 42 points given as part of the annexure which he was supposed to answer. Being a law-abiding citizen, we did answer and we did give our response to the cybercrime department of Uttarakhand state. And eventually we said that this is a bona fide transaction and there is no malice or no malified motive to deceive any particular person. And if the fraud has happened, the fraud that fraud has got no connection with the transfer of crypto, because the transfer of crypto was done in consideration on a request which was put up on a particular centralized exchange which is registered in India. So we gave all details of the exchange. We told the cybercrime department to directly speak to that particular exchange. They had asked for KYC, Aadhaar card, PAN card, utility bill, contract value, contract, signed contract documents, and so on and so forth. At a time when this transaction took place, KYC requirements were not very strong. TDS was not applicable. Government was not taxing crypto transactions. So VDAs were taxed only in the previous budget, nothing before that, right? So the fact that cryptos got termed as virtual digital assets has happened only recently. Whereas people in India have been transacting in crypto since much before, like since a very long time, people have been dealing in crypto in India. I'll also give you an example. On the floor of the House, the Honorable late Finance Minister, Shri Arun Jaitley ji, on the floor of the House after the budget speech in 2016 or 17, if my memory serves me right, it was either 2016 or 17. He said, and I quote, that the government does not consider cryptocurrency as a legal tender, but the government will look to explore the benefits of blockchain technology and reap the benefits of blockchain technology. So these are the words of the Honorable Finance Minister after the budget, and that too on the floor of the House. So it's not that the government did not know what is crypto back in 2016, 17, 18, and 19, or even till 2022. But the government chose, probably in its own wisdom, the government chose not to come out with any law, legislation, taxation structure, or anything. So this is how P2P scam takes place, and since there is no law surrounding it, ultimately all cases which are registered only under the Information Technology Act 2000, under Section 65 or Section 66 of the Act, and these are very generic. Generic sections, and they don't per se deal with cyber frauds related to crypto, but because there is no other section, it gets clubbed under Section 65 and Section 66 of the Information Technology Act 2000. The next type of scam that I'm going to talk about is a poisoned address scam. Now you will wonder, what is a poisoned address? So to understand what is a poisoned address, first let us understand how a crypto transaction takes place. For the benefit of those who have not dealt in crypto, I would like to explain how a particular crypto transaction takes place. Let's take for example, you want to pay 1 crore rupees to me. This is a hypothetical example, though I'm happy if you want to actually pay me a crore, but let's take a hypothetical example. Let's say you want to pay 1 crore rupees to me. You are based in India and I'm based in UAE. If you want to transfer 1 crore rupees to me, you know how long would it take? Because we are chartered accountants, we know the process. We would have done it in the past. So first you go to your bank, fill up ODI Part 1 if it's an investment, or under LRS if it is not an investment. You fill up the form LRS and form A2 of the form A of the RBI. After that, in a lot of cases, banks will insist that please provide us form 15CA and form 15CB, stating that this remittance is not covered under TDS. After that, you probably go to a bank, and if it is a PSU bank, either it is lunchtime or probably it is a bank holiday. Assuming it is neither of the two, you again go to the bank and submit the documents, and then they say, "Hum sham ko process karenge," or we will process it in the evening. Finally, once the remittance is done, it will take T+2 because the SWIFT network takes T+2 for settlement. So after 2 days, the money reaches me, and after that, my bank will levy charges to me. Your bank will levy charges to you. The SWIFT network will levy its own charges, and then there is an intermediary bank which will levy its own charges. After all these charges are paid and after the entire time-consuming process is completed, finally money comes from your account to my account. Now, if you were to do it in a simplified manner from the comfort of your home, without going to a bank, without submitting form 15 CSCB, I am not commenting on the legality of the issue, and nor is this any form of professional or legal advice. But if you wanted to, a person could have legitimately, and of course through legal sources, if a person wanted to do it, they could have just simply transferred it to a particular crypto wallet address. It is a chain of alphanumeric. It's an alphanumeric address maybe around 40 or 60 characters, and you could have simply clicked the button and the money would have gone to that wallet. Now that wallet could belong to me, could belong to you, could belong to any other person on this planet. And with a click of a button, in less than a minute तो on a higher side मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, but in less than a minute, you can transfer crores and crores of rupees from a particular wallet to another wallet. Now, we don't know where the wallets are, right? Because wallet has no jurisdiction. Wallets are like an email ID. Now, you don't know where that email ID belongs to, right? It's on the server. So a crypto wallet also works in a similar fashion and in a similar way. Now, when we talk about a crypto wallet, what happens is you are transferring funds from your account to my account, okay, and with a click of a button at a fraction of a price and much faster. 1 minute is the maximum time, and maybe $3, $5, or $10 will be the cost for transferring money, irrespective of the amount. So as a technology, it is a beautiful technology. There is no doubt about the use of this technology. The only issue is whether it is legal or illegal, and that our honorable government has not been able to clarify since 2016 when Arun Jaitley ji admitted, or 2017 when he admitted on the floor of the house. So having said that, so there is a particular address. So you can transfer money from one address to another address. That address could belong to anyone, not necessarily me or you. It could belong to anyone. That address is open. मतलब कोई भी check कर सकता है. Anyone who wants to check can check what are the transactions being done in the address, in that wallet or that address. What is the amount of funds available in that address? We cannot check how much is the bank balance of each other also. But in crypto, it is absolutely transparent. And nobody can say that nahi, mere account mein paisa hai when there is no money. So these are the addresses. A person's identity is linked with a person's wallet is linked with a person's address. Your existence on blockchain is represented only by an alphanumeric address. So what happens is why a lot of scamsters use this is because there are a lot of addresses and exchanges which don't have any KYC requirements. So people will scam people will launder money, people will do all illegal activities, and they will do it in a wallet which is either on a decentralized exchange or a non-custodial exchange, or where there is no KYC requirement. That is where the problem is. So this is how transactions are done. From one address to another address, money flows. Now, what is a poisoned address? Now, it is obvious that when you're sending a large amount to me, you would want to check, okay, test payment karte. Let's do a test payment and check whether this is a genuine address, whether the funds are received or not. So if you want to send 1 crore rupees to me, you will first send 100 rupees. Okay, you send 100 rupees and check whether I'm receiving 100 rupees or not. If I confirm that yes, I have received 100, then you send the remaining 1 crore minus the 100 rupees, whatever has to be sent. So in such cases, when you send the first 100 rupees to me, okay, my address gets copied onto your system or on the blockchain or on the ledger. Blockchain technology is a distributed public ledger. Okay, so that is what is a technical term, but in very common language, in common parlance and accounting terminology, it is like a ledger. Like the cash ledger that we have in our books of accounts: opening balance, debits, credits, closing balance. Similarly, it's a ledger. It is a record, but it's a distributed ledger. Means not one person owns it. But the copy of the ledger is everywhere. So a poisoned address means that when you send the first 100 rupees to me out of the 1 crore transaction that you want to do with me, when you send the first 100 rupees to my address, okay, my address has certain set of numbers and alphabets, right? So that is a sequence of numbers and alphabets. The moment you send 100 rupees to me, there are a lot of programs which are automatically deployed across the world, which will try to copy the address which I have. Okay, they can no two people can have the same address. Okay, it's like a fingerprint. No two people have the same fingerprint. Similarly, no two people can have the same address on the same blockchain. So people will try to copy the address that I have. That is done through multiple complex calculations, and we're not going into that. But there are ways and means by which either the first few digits or the last few digits can be copied, can be replicated. So when you send the money to my account, multiple addresses get copied and they start sending fake currencies to your account. Now, when they start sending fake currencies to your account thinks that this is a genuine account which is sending money. So next time, whenever you want to send money in your recent transactions, that will be the first address which will show up on your screen. You know, the way we have like frequently contacted numbers on our mobile phones. For example, whenever you open your phone and go in a particular call list, you know, they will show frequently contacted numbers. On a very similar, I'm not talking in technical language, very specifically because we are chartered accountants over here or from an accounting background over here. So multiple addresses will get created by the hacker to show as if it is a frequently transacted account or a wallet. And the hacker's address will in a matter of few minutes, they will do so many transactions with your account with fake cryptocurrencies of their own. मतलब वो खुद का coin आपको डालता रहेगा. Okay, with multiple fake transactions, your wallet will believe or assume that this is the correct address where the money has to be sent. So now we go back to the sequence of events. You want to send 1 crore rupees to me, which I am very happy to accept. You send 100 rupees as a test transaction, only as a test transaction, nothing more, nothing less. The moment you send 100 rupees as a test transaction to me, I will again go somewhere. I will go on my laptop or my mobile phone and I will log in and I will check. Okay. And then probably I will come to know whether, and I will check whether 100 rupees have been received or not. In this meanwhile, multiple computers, algorithms will create multiple wallets which will resemble my wallet address as if it's their own. मतलब कुछ digits जो center में होते हैं वो change कर लेंगे. Some digits out of the long string of digits, some digits which are there in the center will get changed and the starting and the end will remain the same. And because they have done multiple transactions with the existing wallet, which is yours, your wallet will believe it is a frequently contacted address. And it will automatically show up when you start typing my address. It will automatically show up as if it is as if it is a frequently contacted address. अब आपको लगेगा, you will think that yes, this is Vivek's address. So let's just click on this, assuming and only to save yourself from typing the entire long chain of alphanumeric code, you will think, let's just click on this. And that's where the poisoned address scam takes place. This has happened with a lot of people. This has happened. People have lost, again, millions or probably billions of dollars in this. You should never click on any frequently contacted address which shows up on any wallet. Never do that. Always either type it or copy paste it. Okay. If you type it, there could still be a human error. But if you copy paste it from somewhere, the chances of human error are less. And always call and compare. Call and compare. If you want, make someone sit and read, and you read out the digits. So let them listen to it, you read out. Or let them read out, you listen. Or let them verify whatever you are saying. Always have, I don't know whether this is the correct word, but always have a two-layered, double check whatever you're doing. Double check the address before sending, because once the funds are sent to a wrong address, they can never be retrieved. Never. So, having said that, this is a poisoned address attack. And a lot of people have lost money, and this is how the attack happens. So be vigilant, be careful about the poisoned address attacks that take place, and make sure that you have either entered the address entirely by yourself, call and compare, read out loud and recheck with some person, read it twice, check it 2 times, check it 3 times, and then only send. And never click on any frequently transacted wallets just so that you think you can save a minute or maybe 30 seconds, not more. So in order to save those 30 seconds or a minute, you will end up losing all the money that you're sending. And some hacker will be laughing his way to the bank to encash the money that he has received. Now coming to a mining scam. So this is a different type of a scam. So now, again, how I will explain how these kind of scams work. And a lot of people have been scammed, including chartered accountants and some very, very, very highly qualified chartered accountants, people who've done like 5 or 6 degrees related to technology. They've also lost money in these kind of scams. My friends have lost money in these kind of scams. So let's understand what is mining first, and then it'll be easy to understand what is a mining scam. Whenever you want to, let's first understand what is traditional mining. If there is a gold mine, whatever you dig out of that mine, in a gold mine, you will get gold. In a coal mine, you will get coal. In a diamond mine, you will get diamonds. So whatever you mine, whenever you mine, it's not that you go inside a mine to manufacture it, the gold, diamond, or the coal. It is already lying. You only dig it out so that the reward that of mining that you get is called as gold. Cryptocurrencies also work on a similar manner. So there is something called as Bitcoin, which is one of the most popular cryptocurrencies. Most of us would have heard about the name of Bitcoin. A lot of us probably would be holding it. A lot of us would probably be dealing in it, or at least our clients would be holding or dealing it, or someone whom you know would be holding or dealing. So Bitcoin, nobody owns Bitcoin as a network or as a blockchain. Okay, the code runs in such a manner that whoever does mining of Bitcoin, that is, whoever takes care of the network, gets paid some remuneration by the network, and that is known as mining. So the way when you dig out gold from a gold mine, the reward that you get is gold. From a gold mine, you will never get coal. From a gold mine, you will never get diamonds, and vice versa. So when you do mining of Bitcoin, that is to say, when you take care of transactions, when you process the transactions on the Bitcoin network, on the Bitcoin blockchain, the reward that you get is in Bitcoins. When you do mining on an Ethereum blockchain, Ethereum is another cryptocurrency and a blockchain, the reward that you get is Ether or Ethereum. So whatever you mine, the reward will be in its form only. So on a Bitcoin mine, on the Bitcoin network or blockchain, the reward is Bitcoin. On Ethereum, it is Ether or Ethereum. So similarly, so first, this is how mining is done. The reward that you get is a particular currency, and in our example, it is Bitcoin. So if you were to put up a Bitcoin mining farm or an entire setup of computers and complex electronic computing devices, which will process transactions on the Bitcoin network, you will get a reward, and that reward is Bitcoin. Now, what if you cannot afford to have a large setup? Maybe a small setup, you could just set up something inside your house or inside your office, maybe 1 or 2 computers or 1 or 2 machines for Bitcoin mining. So you can do a small setup. But in a small setup, the electricity cost could probably be high. The initial capital cost could be a little high. So it may not be very lucrative. So people came out with mining scams or schemes. They said that, okay, fine, you cannot afford to have a huge setup. Because of economies of scale, you will not be able to make money because you just have 2 machines or 3 machines. We have 5,000 machines. So just the way a mutual fund concept works, they started saying that you can invest small amounts. You cannot afford 5,000, but you can definitely afford 5. So pay me money for 5 machines. I will buy 5 machines on your behalf. I will put them to use, and I will start running this as a scheme. And then I will, whatever is the reward, after deducting my management expenses, after deducting my electricity expenses, after deducting my air conditioning expenses, after deducting all other expenses for running this business, whatever is the profit, I will distribute it on a proportionate basis. So something like a mutual fund, this is how mutual funds work. They deduct all the expenses, and then whatever is left is distributed between the unit holders. So this scam worked. This scam, or rather scheme, worked in such a manner where people claim that because you cannot afford to have a large setup, just take a small setup, and we will have a small setup for you where you can invest only in what you want. So the first trigger in this scam was that they said that their machines were kept in Iceland, and the logic that they explain for that is that because the temperatures throughout the year in Iceland are so low, that probably you will use very little electricity for air conditioning and for cooling down the temperature of the Bitcoin mining farm. जो पूरा setup होता है, that is called as a Bitcoin mining farm. So that was the first trigger. The second trigger was that they said that because we are doing it on a large scale, we buy technology in bulk, we buy machines in bulk, we buy computers in bulk, we have only one manager to take care of an entire large facility which has 5,000 such units. So by using economies of scale, we brought down our costs, and by bringing down costs, we have maximized our profits. This is the explanation that they gave. By giving this explanation, a lot of people bought this because again, they thought that, let's have some passive income, let's have some side income, let's have some quick income, let's have some, let's invest money where you get very high returns. So of course, all of these Bitcoin mining scams claim that you can get 100% of a capital investment back within 1 year. And after 1 year, whatever money you make is all your profit. So a lot of people fell prey to it, and they started investing money in these Bitcoin mining farms. That is the technical name that is given. So they started parking money in these Bitcoin mining farms, and some of them also gave something like an EMI facility. So they said that, since you can't afford to pay, you can pay us on a monthly basis. We'll give you an installment. So you keep on paying for the next 6 months, 11 months, 12 months. And once your money is accumulated, we will return the money to you after adding the profits or the interest or whatever was the scheme or the scam. We will return the money to you and you will make a huge profit. And this is all passive income. You don't have to work for it. You have to make your money work for you. So these are all the things that they gave in their presentation. A friend of mine actually subscribed to this EMI scheme or the deferred payment plan that they'd offered. This friend of mine invested almost around 6 lakh rupees back in 2017 or 18. So every month, he used to work for one of the multinational accounting firms, and every month from whatever salary he got, every month he would transfer some amount, maybe 50,000-60,000 rupees towards this scheme or towards this scam. He kept on doing this for almost 10 or 11 months, and then in the 12th month, he thought that he wanted to withdraw something. So he sent a withdrawal request. And after sending a withdrawal request, there was absolutely no communication that was happening from the person. The person blocked all access. He could not access his own app where he could see his daily earnings. And then he would show me, that, today I earned this much by doing nothing. Today I earned XYZ amount because I have my Bitcoin farm. I have invested in a Bitcoin mining machine or a Bitcoin farm in Iceland. I have created a steady income for myself. So this is how the scam took place. And again, they also had some element of MLM. If you get more people, you start getting some payouts from whatever they earn, plus the capital investment that they do. So this is how multiple scams run. And one thing which is very common in all of these is that there is some element of greed, or there is some element of being non-vigilant in most of these scams. So this is how the Bitcoin mining scam happened. And even in the Bitcoin mining scam, you will have some random people. Yes, another case of a Bitcoin mining scam is some random people will reach out to you. They will say they have a very good business proposal. You have absolutely no connection with that fellow. You've never met that person ever in life. You've never spoken to him or her. You've never interacted, spoken on phone, or done anything. And they will offer you investment schemes in these kind of Bitcoin mining farms. So always consult people who are knowledgeable in that particular domain or industry before putting money, is what I generally tell people. But ultimately, it is their money. They can do whatever they want to. So, but always be cautious is something that I've advised all my clients without any exception. On everyone who has heard me in any webinar or any physical seminar also, I always keep on saying, be extremely cautious about whatever you're doing. Earning money may be hard, but being greedy so that you can make more money will only make sure that the hard-earned money that you've made is also lost. So be very cautious about whatever you're doing. So this is the mining scam. And then there are malicious codes and contracts. Randomly, someone will message you that, we are giving you some free tokens. Okay, so listening to this, people will click on that link. They will say that you need to run this particular smart contract. You need to sign a particular smart contract. A smart contract, as the word says, is smart. There is also this thing that I read on WhatsApp that earlier people were smart and phones were dumb. And today, probably the opposite of that is happening. Phones are getting smarter by the day and probably people are getting dumber. So a smart contract, as the word suggests, is a contract which can execute multiple instructions once it is designed or once it is written. So it's a code. It is like an algorithm or a software. For common parlance and for common understanding, I'm using these words in an interchangeable manner. So a smart contract is a written code, algorithm, software, or a tool where once you accept it or once you sign it, it executes certain set of instructions. Now, just because the opposite person says that we are giving some free coins, you take my cryptocurrency for free. We just want to increase the user base, so we are giving out some free coins. Please take them tomorrow. It will reach $5, $10, $100. It is the next Bitcoin. Is what is what everyone claims. So this is how people get lured, and just to get those free coins, they end up signing or executing these malicious codes or these smart contracts or these algorithms. Once these smart contracts get executed, whatever is there in your wallet will get drained out. Whatever virtual digital assets you are holding, whether in the form of cryptocurrency or whether in the form of NFTs. NFTs are like digital art. So anything that is there in your wallet, or your crypto wallet, everything will get drained out, and you will not be able to retrieve it anyhow. Because you have signed that transaction, right? You have authorized that transaction. You have agreed to that transaction. Again, in banking parlance, if I was to explain how that happens, is you get a request. You get a request on your phone. Let's say nowadays a lot of people use GPay or Paytm or any such similar payment apps, right? So somebody says, "I'm sending you my QR code. Please scan it so that you can get money." Okay, so you start scanning it, and you don't get money by scanning, right? The money gets drained out of your wallet the moment you scan. So similarly, the moment you sign or authorize certain contracts with your wallet, the wallets get drained out. You don't get anything. If you have to get anything, आप सिर्फ अपना address दीजिए, just give your wallet address. If they want to give you anything for free, you give them your wallet address, they'll send it to you. That is how people get this for free. But whenever someone says that I'm sending you something, you kindly sign or authorize that transaction. Never do that. Whenever you interact or authorize or sign any request, that means in the most likely scenario, the funds are going out of your wallet, not coming inside your wallet. Then there are these scams which take place, which are called as airdrops. Airdrops are where people will claim that we are giving you free tokens. So kindly give all your documents, kindly give all your details, KYC, your seed phrase. That's how they trick you into giving the seed phrase, right? The moment you give a seed phrase, again, whatever is there in the wallet will get drained out and you will be left with absolutely nothing. So these are some of the scams that I wanted to talk about. Riddhi, are there any questions that have come up in the chat box or on your screen, on your panel? I'll be happy to take them before I move on to the next part of my presentation.
No, any questions are popping up on the screen. I will tell you if any question are there. You will proceed.
Okay. All right. Thanks. So these are the questions. So if you have any questions, please type them and send them across to the moderator for today's session. If you have any questions, concerns, or any of your clients who've been scammed, please feel free to share those thoughts or your put forward your comments. I'll be happy to address your queries and concerns. Now, the next part of it is more on the regulatory aspect, the taxation aspect, and the global aspect, right? So let's dive a little into that, and let's understand what can be done, what should be done, or what could have been done, and how can we as chartered accountants prevent this. As I've always mentioned, awareness is the key. So please make sure your clients are aware before they invest in any form of cryptocurrencies. So when we talk about safety, the first thing that you need to ask yourself is that, are you cyber safe? Have you installed antiviruses? Have you visited any websites which could possibly leave any viruses on your computer, on your system, or on your server? Have you downloaded any tools? Have you downloaded any softwares which are malicious? So first try and understand those things, and then only start transacting in cryptocurrencies from those electronic devices. I always suggest never visit any websites which look malicious. Never download any apps which are malicious. Never download anything which is not there on the Play Store or on the Apple Store. Never download anything which gives access to any other person which you may not even be aware of. So these are just some cyber points for cyber hygiene. I think so now let's understand what is the role of regulators and the role of Interpol in cryptocurrencies. Because this is a global crime, crypto doesn't understand borders, so there is no particular country which can work in isolation. Even India, for that matter, cannot work in isolation. It has to work with it has to work at a global level with global alliances. The G20, as we know, is happening, and probably some laws are going to be framed in the G20 around the crypto regulations. And at a global level, the Interpol is already working on something called as Project Titanium. Project Titanium of the Interpol revolves around finding the end identity of the one who encashes the crypto. So irrespective of wherever people are losing money from, ultimately it is going somewhere, right? Somebody is encashing it somewhere. So who's that, and how to track that? How to link multiple wallets? Where is it getting split? So let's say $1 million come in one wallet, but they're split into $1,000 each transactions in maybe another 10,000 wallets. So Project Titanium is something which is being developed by Interpol. The regional headquarters of the Interpol in Singapore, they're working on it. They're developing a tool. They've almost finalized it, and they are once it is fully developed, they will give it to all the 195 member nations who are part of the Interpol. Now, coming to the role of RBI, SEBI, and Ministry of Finance, from a regulatory perspective, whether the cryptocurrency transactions are legal or illegal, let us understand that whether they're legal or illegal, can a crime be reported? How can it be reported? How can you advise your friends, family, and clients to report cryptocurrency-related frauds and crimes? And what can you do as a chartered accountant to add more value to all of them? First and foremost, RBI has clarified that cryptos are not legal tender. That's the first thing. Second, RBI then later on clarified that they do not consider they consider cryptocurrencies as a highly risky asset class. So RBI has never clarified whether they are a separate asset class or not. So RBI has only clarified that they do not consider cryptocurrency as a legal tender. And second, they are a risky investment or an asset class. So because cryptocurrencies are not legal tender and are not considered as a currency, like RBI considers the INR as a legal tender, the RBI considers multiple other currencies. Let's take an example of USD, GBP, the pound, the euro as currencies. RBI does not consider Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Solana, Cardano, Ripple as cryptocurrencies or as currencies. Because RBI does not consider cryptocurrencies as currencies, it does not exercise its jurisdiction as far as matters related to cryptocurrencies are concerned. They just keep on coming out with notifications and circulars. The first two circulars I already explained what they were. First was that they do not consider cryptos as legal tender. The second one was that this is a highly risky asset. The third circular was that they said that banks cannot provide services to exchanges or to any other intermediary providing crypto services. So that was another circular that was ultimately quashed by the Honorable Supreme Court. I don't know why did they do that, but in their own wisdom, they have done it. So RBI has particularly stayed away from whether legalizing or delegalizing. So either you call it legal or you call it illegal, but they have chosen to maintain a balanced approach and not take any side whether it is legal or illegal. They only said that this is not legal tender. But whether people can transact in it or not, they have never clarified that till date. Now, when we talk about the RBI, we also need to understand that cryptocurrencies don't understand borders. When they don't understand borders, can money be sent out to other countries without the intervention of the RBI? Yes, it could. We also took a hypothetical case and a scenario where anyone could transfer any form of money, any amount of money from one country to another country with a click of a button without the RBI coming to know about it. So whether it amounts to a violation of FEMA or not, and whether it amounts to money laundering or not, is also something which we as chartered accountants must scrutinize before we advise our clients, and we must explain the risks associated with these kind of transactions. So as far as FEMA is concerned, any amount that goes out of the country must be reported to the RBI. That FEMA is absolutely clear about it. You cannot send money outside the country without reporting it to the RBI. And there is a prescribed manner in which it has to be reported to the RBI. So as far as violation of FEMA is concerned, can it potentially happen in cryptocurrencies? Yes, it can. Can money be transferred across countries without being reported to any authority? Yes, it can. Can it be termed as money laundering? Yes, under the PMLA Act, yes, it can be termed as money laundering. Now let's understand the role of SEBI in this. I mentioned in the very beginning that there are certain exchanges which call themselves as exchanges, but nobody has given them the authority. So initially, when a lot of investors and traders raised queries with RBI stating whether cryptocurrency transactions are legal or illegal, RBI only clarified that they are not legal tender. They never clarified whether crypto transactions per se are legal or illegal. So then people went to SEBI, asking and hoping that SEBI would at least clarify. Sorry. So a lot of people asked a question to SEBI that we are dealing through exchanges. Do you regulate these exchanges? Or can you regulate these exchanges? Or will you be the regulator which will in future regulate these exchanges? So SEBI also clarified that cryptocurrency is neither stock, as in neither equity, nor debentures, nor currency, nor any derivative. Hence, SEBI also said that we also do not have jurisdiction over it, because according to the mandate of SEBI, they could only regulate certain asset classes. But cryptocurrency did not feature in it, because when SEBI was formed, there was no cryptocurrency. But with the evolving nature of transactions, SEBI decided to stay mum. They let exchanges call themselves as exchanges, because of which poor investors, small traders, students who started investing in cryptocurrencies through these so-called cryptocurrency exchanges were at the mercy. I will use these words, and I'm being very cautious about the words that I'm using. They were left at the mercy of these exchanges. A lot of these exchanges ran away with the money. Some claimed they were hacked. Some have stolen money, and SEBI did nothing for that, for the small investors. SEBI also just clarified that we do not have jurisdiction because cryptocurrency is not something that SEBI has jurisdiction over. And these exchanges were not recognized exchanges, and still they call themselves as exchanges, and SEBI kept mum. And now let's go to the Ministry of Finance. So a lot of private individuals and stakeholders raised this question to the Honorable Ministry of Finance of the country, whether cryptocurrency transactions were legal or illegal. The Honorable Finance Ministry never clarified whether they were legal or illegal, because there was no law. But the Finance Ministry also only clarified that they do not consider this as legal tender, because the RBI does not consider this as legal tender. The Honorable Finance Ministry also never clarified whether these transactions could be treated as business income or whether these would be treated as capital gains. As chartered accountants, we understand if the frequency of transactions is high, then probably this could be termed as business income. But if this was done with a motive of investment, then probably the gains arising could be treated as capital gains. So over the years, there was no communication, no notification, no circular by the Ministry of Finance on the method and the mechanism in which crypto transactions should have been taxed. It was only in the last to last budget, where it was clarified that how crypto transactions would be taxed. As on date, crypto transactions are taxed in a manner where there is a flat 30% tax, no set-off losses, 1% TCS, and no carry forward of losses. Even same pair losses cannot be set off. That is to say, you buy Bitcoin in the morning, sell Bitcoin in the evening. You make profit. Tomorrow, again, you buy Bitcoin, sell Bitcoin, make losses. You cannot even set off those profits against those losses of Bitcoin. For example, if you were to buy shares of one very leading technology company in India, you buy shares today, sell shares today. You make profit. Buy shares of a FMCG company tomorrow. Sell shares of an FMCG company tomorrow, and you make loss. You can set that off. So even same pair losses cannot be set off, and even different pair losses cannot be set off. At a very practical level, when I thought this meant privatization of losses and nationalization of profits. Means if you make profits, you pay taxes to the country, but if you make loss, you are supposed to bear it yourself from your own capital. So this is how the government has only clarified that they will be taxed. Moving further, a lot of clients have received notices from the income tax department pertaining to the nature of transactions that have done. How did they buy the crypto? When did they buy the crypto? How much advance tax was paid? How much tax was paid? Whether they have treated as capital gains, whether they've treated as business income. Multiple annexures were attached. Multiple points were put as annexures to the notice, and crypto traders were asked to explain how did they buy, when did they buy, through which funds did they buy. The point is that in a year when there was no clarity, how can the department add that back as business income? So let's say a person has hypothetically shown a particular income as capital gains because he or she would have actually invested and the frequency of transactions was less. So now the department is alleging that this should have been business income and hence differential tax must be paid plus interest plus penalty must be paid. So this is the view of the tax department. Now let's say that there is a fraud that has actually taken place. What will you do? You will have to report it to some authority. You will have to report it to some department. So in case if there is a crypto fraud, the rule says that first and foremost, for any form of scam, you have to go to the nearest police station which has a jurisdiction over your territory. You have to go over there and report a scam. Now the problem that happens is that not all police stations not all police stations and not all investigating authorities have knowledge about cryptocurrency. So a practical problem that you may face, even in metro cities, even in urban towns, not all police officers have knowledge about cryptocurrency when you go to report a fraud. So the first thing that they do, and I'm talking very practically, and of course with no offense to any person over here, to any law enforcement agency, but I'm telling what is a ground reality. The ground reality is that they do not understand crypto scams. The first thing that they will try to persuade is that they will ask you to not file a report. Second thing that they will try to say is that go to the cybercrime department. The third thing that they will say is that there is a cybercrime portal and a cybercrime portal of the Ministry of Home Affairs. Go and report the scam over there. Then go to the state cybercrime if you have to and report the scam over there also. But for it to be reported, it is mandatory that you should have an FIR. The police will make all efforts to explain to you why an FIR should not be filed. But filing an FIR is your right. So please make sure that your FIR is registered and you get a copy of your FIR. Even a diary entry or an NC. You know, a lot of times they will say that aap online jaake NC file kar lo. Go online and file an NC. That has no value. It has to be, if it has to be reported, it has to be recorded and an FIR must be filed. So first is persuasion not to file an FIR. And the second point is that even if an FIR is filed, is that authority competent enough to investigate this kind of a crime? The next point that I'm going to talk about is a lot of crypto scams have happened. A lot of people, even in India, have laundered money, have run away with money. So in that case, the government issues, the relevant investigating authority will issue a lookout circular, which is known as an LOC. If the person is in India, an LOC will be issued. Whenever the person tries to go out, they will be detained. Of course, they will be detained at a seaport, airport, or a land border station. However, if they've already gone out of the country, there are some very big crypto names who are actually Indian citizens even today, who have gone out of the country, who have run away, and there is an allegation on one particular exchange, and the founder of that exchange, almost to the extent of 2,550 crore rupees. The one law enforcement agency, the enforcement directorate has issued a notice to explain, summoning that fellow, that why should he not be summoned? Why should he not be investigated in an alleged money laundering scam of 2,550 crores? But that gentleman, in his own wisdom, has run out of the country and is not coming back. So in such cases, what happens is the government has to approach the Interpol and say that either issue a blue corner notice or issue a red corner notice. So what is a blue corner notice? A blue corner notice is whenever a person is found at any nearest airport or seaport, he will be detained and all his details will be taken. And a red corner notice is whenever a blue corner notice is whenever he's found at any particular place, his information will be recorded and will be passed on to the Enforcement Directorate or the CBI, whichever agency is prosecuting him. And a red corner notice is that whenever he's found, he will either be detained or arrested and then he will be handed over to the Indian authorities whenever he's found at any airport. Now I come towards the conclusion. As I say, the way forward is awareness is the key. I think this is the fourth time or the fifth time I'm saying this. So please be sure that you're fully aware about what are your rights. Even when it comes to a crypto scam, it must be reported. An FIR must be filed. And it is your right to file an FIR. Nobody can persuade you not to file an FIR. Please file an FIR, because once FIRs are filed, then it becomes a government record, and then it gets collected in whichever directory or wherever it has to be collected and reported at a central level. Because till when a crime is not reported, it is not recorded anywhere. Then explain the risks involved to your clients, and finally, always report the crime. As I said, it is your right. You must report it. Whoever the person is, in whatever nature or form you would have given money. I'm being very judicious about the words that I'm using. Even if you have invested money in some other form, please make sure at least a crime gets reported. And finally, let's stay connected. These are my details. You can take a screenshot of it. I'm most accessible on my email. I'll be very happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. So please connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to address your queries. I'll be happy to take any questions that you have. And with this, I end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. You elaborate us very well about crypto scams. Now it's time to welcome our second speaker of the session, Head of Research of IDBI Capital Markets and Securities Limited, and an experience of 32 years in Indian stock market, Mr. A.K. Prabhakar, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here. We are now, India is in the golden decade. There are multiple factors, which is helping India. One is demographics. Other one is diversity. Now, I have traveled across India. We are a unique country. Now, when you go to South, it is very different. The culture, the food habits, even the way they behave. Now, when you are in the western part of India, it is entirely different. Eastern part of India is very different. Central part, northern part, northeastern part, everywhere it is different. But that diversity is something which is helping India in its growth. And digitalization, which is something where government is investing more. We have UPI, we have FASTag, we have multiple things where government has invested for the public good, and that is where we are connected. The last mile delivery is happening, and that is very important for us. Democracy. Now, today, after Russia-Ukraine war and COVID, now the globe has recognized that being a democratic country is far better than countries which are very demanding, like China, Russia. You have Turkey. Now you have Korea. So these countries are very difficult to deal with. Even Iran. Dealing with India is very easy, and that is where we are enjoying the dividend. Now, and we have demand. 140 crore people and a very high middle class thing we have. Now, and every year, India is having about 15 lakh engineers who are passing out. Very important data. 15 lakh engineers every year we pass out. In China, which is equal to us, it is only 6 lakh or 6.5 lakh of engineers. So, because of our good education policy, today, many people are educated. So, now this supports our development. So there are few data, which I will be throwing before I go into the main presentation. So these are what I as a institution we follow. So we like stock which are very consistent. where 12 to 15% growth rate they have given, or we have a visibility of that. That is where we like those companies. Now, capital protection, that is the most important thing when I invest. I'm 54 years, almost. I've been in market for a very long time. I've seen all the risk of the market. So I don't like to lose my capital. So protecting the capital is an important thing. So I don't, we normally do not get into stocks even for research purpose where it is risky or whether it is a turnaround company. Many companies consistently have made losses. Suddenly they'll say I've made profit, but still we give enough time to see what all changes has happened, because capital cannot be risked. So and loss-making companies, corporate governance, even there are many companies which have political affiliation, which it can be this side or that side, but it is safer to stay away, because they don't create a lot of return. But the volatility in the stocks are very high. Volatility normally kills investment over a period of time. Newly listed company, that is also avoid, because we don't have a historical track record. We don't have data to analyze them. So normally newly listed company is more speculative. So you can make money, but to get data or to do a scientific investment, it is not possible. So normally we do not deal with these kind of stock. Normally whatever we do, we document it, because there are a lot of mistakes we make. But any mistake, if you start to document, how to avoid these mistakes at a future point of time. So we try to avoid mistakes. Making mistake is common. We are humans. We make mistakes, but trying to understand the mistake, and acknowledging the mistake is most important. And when we understand that we have made a mistake, we don't hesitate to book losses. That is a very important thing. Warren Buffett says, when you are in a leaking boat, it is better to jump rather than repair. So if you take majority of the people, they like to average their mistakes. So we never average it. If we think this business is not going to scale up in next few years, or something wrong has happened, then it is safer to exit and then look at other opportunities, so that we do not waste time, or we do not pray God. Now, normally, we regularly see NSE notification, BSE notification, and that is how we monitor everything. So monitoring our portfolio is very important. And normally, people say, Mr. X has bought this, so it should be good, I will buy it. But following the big bulls will not help you, because each one has their own risk profile. So understand your risk profile, understand your mindset, then start to invest. Each one will have different. See, for me, I have seen my stock going down 50%. But if I think the business model is very good, they will scale up. They are in an expansion mode. So getting the profitability, or getting the this thing will take time. I am ready to wait. But each one has their patience level. Each one has their risk profile. So everything is not for everyone. So you need to understand where you are aligned. So write it down. What is that you want, and what are you looking for? Then it makes your life very simple. And in short term, we might not perform. We have bad times. We have good times. But over a period of time, if you do a proper max, then I think 12 to 15% annual return, including dividend, is possible. So Warren Buffett says, rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. So not losing money is our investment method. So normally, we have tried to give very good returns over a period of time, but everything has its own risk. What are the kind of risk in investing? So now there is a political risk, there is a regulatory risk. So now I'll talk about one regulatory risk. All of a sudden, government came with a regulation saying that power trading companies have to do this. So what happened? Due to which few stocks have corrected. So now there is something where the change in technology also disturbs. So now when initially mobile phone came, it was a hardware. All of a sudden, Apple came and they introduced that as a software, and your Motorola, your Ericsson, they went out of business. So this is innovator. So innovator also, they disturb the existing business model. So many people go out of business. So now we are facing this inflation risk and interest rate risk. Whenever inflation and interest rate moves higher, the market normally doesn't perform. It is not first time. In last 100 years, that is what it has happened. And there is always a management risk. So in this management, we have collected data. Now we have, I have few slides which is very interesting. Maybe you people would not have thought about it, but I thought this, but I will highlight these kind of pointers also. And companies' default risk is also there. It can be a good business model, but if the business is run in a wrong way, or somebody has cheated, or the related party transaction happen, then always it happens. Event risk. COVID was an event risk. Russia-Ukraine war was an event risk. Compliance risk. Now we are seeing in broking industry. Now I belong to a broking industry where now SEBI has gotten a lot of rules. So the smaller players are continuously going out of business because the compliance cost is more than the revenue they earn. So that is why the top 5 or 10 brokers are getting the market share. Others are losing market share. So that is something. Even change in consumer preferences is very important. In the last 2-3 years, the motorbike sale or two-wheeler sales have come down. Your SUV sales have improved. Your entry-level car also. So people's preferences change. Even for hotels, smaller hotels have not done well. Premium hotels have done well. So these things also has a risk to our investment. So before I go into the topic, these are few questions where people sometimes they know it, but just to test it. Who was the first CEO of TCS? And till today, how many CEOs have been in TCS? I'll answer everything. FC Kohli was the first CEO. He was a founder. He was also called IT. Founder of IT in India. So FC Kohli was there for 28 years. And Ramadurai followed him. He was there for 13 years. In 50 years of TCS had only 5 CEOs. Very important. When you have longevity, then these companies perform very good. That is something which is very important. TCS performance, if you see after listing, they have given one of the best return. It is because of the longevity of the CEOs. So there is a new CEO who is coming. He, of Tech Mahindra. Who is that? So, his name is Mohit Joshi. Mohit Joshi's salary in FY23 is higher than his boss. He worked in Infosys, and he was president there. His salary was higher than Shahil Parekh, who is the CEO of the company. So he has already joined, but he will take over the full command in November 1st or 2nd week. But everybody's eyes are there. What is that he is going to do? Because the revenue which he earned for Infosys being there, it was far higher than Tech Mahindra's revenue. So that is where, and he was an aspirational CEO for Infosys. 2 people were there in the competition. But Shahil Parekh got 5 years extension. So those 2 people have left. One is Mohit Joshi, other person has gone to Cognizance. So tracking CEOs is also very important in our business. So next, SBI, number of customers, they have about 48 crore customers. So total population of India is only 140 crores. So more than 1/3 of the total population has business with State Bank of India. That is the strength of State Bank of India. They have 22,405 branches. Loan book is almost 32,69,000 crores. And if somebody asks you, what is a housing loan book? It is about 6,40,000 crores. And now HDFC and SDFC Bank is merging. But Even before that, State Bank of India had the biggest housing finance loan book. So many people know this, but I thought I will again connect this. Cost to income ratio of Yes Bank. There is one data which is saying the total number of shareholders in Yes Bank is the highest in India. Totally 50 lakh people hold Yes Bank. Demat account people hold Yes Bank. And total Demat account in India is 11 crores. So almost 1 in 22 people who have Demat, they hold Yes Bank. So everybody thinks because it is 10, 12 or 15 rupees, whatever is the price, it is a value stock. But many people don't understand it could be a value trap also. So cost to income ratio is something every analyst used to measure the efficiency of the bank. Normally, many efficient banks, they have cost to income ratio below 50. Even PSU banks have 40, 42. So inefficient bank has higher. Here it is almost 72% is the Yes Bank cost to income ratio. How many satellites are in space and who owns the majority of them? The highest satellite belongs to Elon Musk. Almost 7,700 is one data saying. So 50% is held by him. So these data, somewhere I will use it. So these data are very important, but somewhere I will use it. Largest hotels chain globally is, and in India is Marriott. They have the highest hotel in India. The second highest hotel is Indian Hotel. That is why I put the next query. Indian Hotel has, as of 31st March, 21,686 rooms. But very soon it will become the leader. So by next 1.5 years, they will have 31,585 rooms. So here, Indian state with highest number of airports, it is Gujarat. They have about 8 airports. Which Indian state has the highest count of international airport? It is Kerala and Tamil Nadu. They have 4 international airports each because they have the highest NRE. But here, today I checked one more data. It is from RBI. I thought Kerala gets the highest remittances. I was wrong. Maharashtra gets the highest remittances. It has overtaken Kerala and Tamil Nadu in the last few years. So in FY22 data, Maharashtra gets the highest remittances. So the number of engineers I was saying, it is about 15 lakh engineers, and almost 25% of the engineers come from Maharashtra, 25% from Tamil Nadu, balance to 50% come from rest of India. So this is also very important data. So that is how things pan out. Which state in India has the largest land area? So Rajasthan has the largest land area. Many people think sometimes it is UP or MP. MP was the largest before bifurcation. Now, as Chhattisgarh and few things were separated, it is not the largest state. Largest state is Rajasthan. So these are very important data, and these are turnaround data which is playing out. And India has become one of the largest exporter of mobile phones. It is almost 85,000 crores that we have exported. That means it is $10 billion and above. So at one point of time, we were importers of mobile phone. And if you understand the total component which is manufactured in India for this mobile phone is 15%. But over a period of time, this ecosystem will be created. So I have seen this in Maruti's case. When I was young, Maruti, most of the components were imported and assembled here. Today, you have the full ecosystem. Almost 100% of the components are manufactured here. So I think in mobile phones also, very soon, the total components which are going into it will increase. And the Apple feels that the full ecosystem will be there in India. So I said, the demand is one more factor which is benefiting us. So many manufacturers are coming to India so that they can manufacture at low cost. It will be away from China. So it is a China plus one strategy. They can export from India and they can cater to the local demand and at a lower cost. So now Indians are price sensitive. So you have to manufacture here. And it generates job. So it almost qualifies for many things. that is something which is benefited. So now there was one data where non-leather shoe manufacturers have almost 6 non-leather shoe manufacturers in the last 6 months have opened their factories in India to manufacture Nike, Adidas, Puma, a lot of brands. No, I don't recollect full brands, but they have opened. And in next 1 year, I think we will become a hub of non-leather shoe manufacturing. So it will be exported from India and it will be used for local consumption also. So now we have about 49 crore of Jan Dhan account. And most of the Jan Dhan account belongs to State Bank of India also, but other banks also have equally in that participation. And last mile, inclusivity is also due to that. Almost 1,97,000 crores is there in the Jan Dhan account. So poor people also are now benefiting and they are coming into the financial inclusion status. And India has almost 117 crore subscriber. We are the second largest telecom market, and we are the most advanced, if I have to say, using the UPI data. We are the most advanced. And when it comes to Forex reserve, we are the 5th largest country. Now, there is a fight between 4 and 5. So we are the 5th largest country in foreign reserve. So we have almost $593 billion and we have enough gold reserve also. When it comes to remittances, India is the highest. So yesterday, one more data came, but I didn't update it. It said it is $111 billion. And this is what I said, 15 lakh engineers and 2,500 college. Now we have engineering college we have. And India is something where we are producing lot of professional education today. And I think the way Indians are educated, there is one book, World is Flat. I think Thomas Friedman has written the book. He talks about when he was a kid, his parents used to say, please do not waste the vegetable. There are children in India who are starving. But today I'm saying, my kid, please do your homework. There are Indians who are studying very hard and they will take your job away. That is the fear globe is having on India. We are a very good service industry country, but when it comes to manufacturing, that is where our fault line is there. So and even this government has done a lot of things. Previously, our goods train used to run at 23 to 25 kilometers. Now it is improved to 46. But when you come to global average, still we are at 50% of their speed. So it is not that we need to be happy. We have a long way to go. So this is one more data which I've taken out. It was a study done by international agencies where they say average lifespan, average. Again, I mentioned average. There are companies which will be there for 100 years. But today, the average lifespan of important, the top 500 companies, they are reduced. At one point of time, they were 67 years. Today, they are saying nowadays it is only 15 years of average lifespan they are. So even McKinsey report is saying it is 18 years today. So why I am putting this is, previously we buy something and we can hold for an indefinite time. But now we need to work on it, whether things are going well. There can be multiple aspects which can change the company's future. So now today, QSR, whenever I talk to those management, they are saying there is a slowdown because people want to eat healthy food. So they are not buying pizzas and burgers. I was surprised that Indians are very fast to change their taste, preferences, and food habits. So it is not easy for QSR or companies which are selling single product to sustain in India. We are not like Westerners where we follow single. We like to experiment. So if you do not have different variety in your menu, then Indians over a period of time they get bored and they move away. So these are very interesting data facts. So India as an importer, our import and export, when you notice, there is always a difference. So in FY 2022, it was $190 billion. In 23 also, the difference was a bit higher, but there are many things which are supportive. So where is the government focus? Government wants to reduce the import. That is where they are working on defense. they are working on agrochemical or fertilizer, whatever you call it. No, they are working on electronics and electricals. So that is where your mobile phone is getting manufactured. They have a PLI for even computers and other equipments. Electronic is one of the major imports for India. So it forms about 6% and 5%. If you notice here, no, so it is a huge component for India. So if we can reduce that import, now the content of the import, it will help India in a very big way. And even solar and hydrogen, India is working very effectively. So if that starts to work, whatever data we get, by another 6-7 years, India's import of crude oil and other oils also will start reducing. Now, in oil, we don't import only one oil, which is a crude oil. We also import vegetable oil. Let it be palm oil or other kinds of vegetable oil, we import. So that is where we are a very large importer. But today we have BT, mustard oil. So that we have started to do it because India thought that we need to at least reduce that kind of oil so that we don't import. So that is how the focus is there. So we are getting into green energy more so that we reduce our oil imports. So solar, wind energy, your green hydrogen. There are many things which are done, but it will take time. It cannot happen in 1 or 2 years. It might take 4 or 5 years, but we are on that. There is a E20 policy, which is called ethanol 20 policy. As of today, we use only 12 or 13% of ethanol mixing in petrol. But when it becomes E20, 1 lakh crore of crude oil imports will be reduced in India. 1 lakh crore is a huge money for India. It is almost $12 to $13 billion. So that is something India will save. Already we are saving. But when it becomes E20, ethanol 20 policy, we will be saving so much. So even India is looking like we wanted to produce lab-grown diamonds. So nano urea is something where urea for fertilizer, the government subsidy is very high, and it is not about subsidy. We even as Indians, we eat a lot of chemicals. So government thought they will innovate in that segment. So there is an introduction of nano urea. So I have a slide for nano urea. So I will explain you. Nano urea is something where you spray and it will not spoil the soil. And it is 100 times efficient than your bag. One bag, I think I have the slide. When it comes, I will explain you more. And there are a lot of uncertainties in the regulatory policy of China, which is benefiting India in a big way. So if you want to do business in China, if you start an office there, you cannot come out easily. So people do not, like Russia. So there were a lot of Western companies which had offices in Russia. And once the war broke out, it was 100% written off. So China is also something like that, where it is very difficult to take money out of China. So many people want to de-risk their capacities. So that is something which is helping. And the way, China, which was equal to India in 1990s, today their per capita is about $10,000. Today we are about $2,300 per capita income. So they have grown 5 times. So their labor cost and everything has grown up. So that is also impacting. So the cost of manufacturing in China and India, we are doing it better. So that is something which is giving us a very big advantage. Even in investment, many fund managers do not like to invest in China. So that is where the flow has started to shift from China to India. So defense is one core area. There are many things in defense which is happening. We have our Prime Minister who will be going to US, where a drone, we will be buying a drone technology or drones almost for $3 billion is what the estimate is saying. And there is a German company which will tie up with the Indian company to manufacture submarines. They have done it in 1980s. About 4 submarines they have manufactured. In tie-up, they have done it. But this time, it will be a technological transfer and we will be manufacturing. And even GE engines are likely to come to India. And they say 80% of the components will be manufactured in India. If that proves true, there are many defense PSUs which will be a beneficiary. So no, that is going to be a huge game changer, because Indians tried manufacturing engines for the last 65 years, and they have failed miserably there. If we can get technology, that will reduce cost, because already the major producer of aircraft and other, they have expanded in near Bangalore, 100 kilometers Bangalore, they have expanded their capacity, and now next 20 years, the revenue from that plant itself will be 1 lakh crore. So that means it is going to be a huge turnaround for many defense PSUs. And if they get engine, then the order can be executed even faster. So these are few things. And India has been traditionally importer of defense. But very soon, we will become a total net exporter of defense. So it might take years, but we didn't think about 5-6 years back that India can export to US. BEL, Bharat Electronics, has started to export critical components to US. That is the way India has changed. So these are few things, where changes are happening. And this is the starting stage. Now we have educated manpower, we have good technology, and even the Western countries would like to work with us. So that is where this game-changing thing is happening. Many defense stock has doubled, but still valuation-wise, seeing their future, it is still attractive. So India is one of the youngest population when it comes to demographic. So our average age is only 29 years. So and 50% of our population is below 25 years. I've talked about engineers, so I've given all these things. And what is supporting India is JAM Trinity, Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile. So everything is linked. Many people are in the social media. I see everybody is talking about TCS, 20% tax. But when I go back and see what is the reason government has introduced this tax, there are only 5 crore odd income tax payers in India. But when it comes to crypto, we were hearing about crypto. When it comes to crypto, more than 11 crore people are having a crypto account. And Demat account, it is about 11 crore. And the number of people holding passport is also equally high. But many people do not report their income. So when it is a tax deducted at source. So when tax is deducted, you have to prove your income. That is why they have kept it. Maybe some modification can happen, but I'm not a tax expert to talk on that. But everything depends on the data which is happening. The Indian spending abroad has increased, but now due to this TCS, that will reduce. So local spending will start to increase. Is something I am looking at. So this is how we are in services. We control almost 55% of the global services. And when it comes to manufacturing, we are but it is a very old data. Latest data is not available. It is 2019 data where we are only 3%, and China is almost 28.7%. Maybe now the data would have changed, but still we are not up to the mark. We need to make a lot of headway. Maybe from 3, if we go to 10-15%, I'll be happy. Then a lot of jobs will be created. The ecosystem will change. Our per capita from $2,300, it might go to $6,000 or $8,000. So the habit of people will change. The lifestyle of people will change. So these are things which we feel will happen over a period of time. And the government policies are enacting, and they are in sync. From 1991, when the reform started, till today, the reform process without any gap has been going steadily, and that is something which will benefit India in a long term. So there are many things I have collated. So we have one of the lowest tax. I think about 4-5 years before COVID, all of a sudden finance minister came out and said, I'm cutting the tax. So we have one of the lowest tax. Few countries might be having it, but this itself for a corporate, this tax is very good. And our manufacturing share to GDP, Now we are very low, but government aspiration is to make it 21%. So there are a lot of things where we are doing. We are started to doing very good, and there was a data which was given where May infra total capex data came. So it is almost 2 lakh crore, more than 2 lakh crore, and they say almost 35% will be executed. So even by that rate, the private capex has started, and whatever companies we interact, we get that feedback. So I think once the capex starts, then it is going to be at least 4 or 5 years of bull rally. The corporate profits will grow. So that is very important. And very important is our infrastructure. Our infrastructure has been very bad. So today, I was talking about airports. Gujarat is having 8 airports. I said, Tamil Nadu is having 4 international airports. Kerala, 4 international airports. I hardly remember, they had 1 international airport in Kerala. When I was young, everybody from Kerala used to come to Tamil Nadu to take a flight. Chennai was an important international hub. But today you have, international, in a very small area, you have 8 international airport. And if you take Bangalore, it becomes 9. So, that is the way we have changed. And very soon, in next few years, the numbers of airport is going to double. And in UP, whatever data I have seen, there will be 8 international airport which will be coming in next few months. That means, they will become the largest international airport state. So, things are changing very fast, and that infrastructure and interlinking is very important. And today we have faster train coming. You are Vande Bharat, and our allocation towards railways is very important. Our total passengers which airlines carried is about 1.34 crores of airline passengers were there. So everybody, 140 crore people are there. Everybody cannot travel by air. So train is a better mode of transport, and when it is a very short distance, faster train is something which will help us in a long way. So this many times the competition is not something from the industry, it is something away from the industry. So I thought I would make you slightly think differently. So Netflix CEO has said our biggest competitor is sleep, and it is not Amazon Prime or Disney Hotstar. Now FMCG people, they who sell that toffee, 50 paisa, 1 rupee toffee, they said the competition has been UPI or digital pay. So because before, when you go to Kirana shop, if they don't have a change, they used to give you chocolates. Today, we are giving exact change because of the digital payment. So airline, in France, there was one notification I've seen. Short distance travel cannot be by aircraft. So if it is 300 kilometer or 250 kilometer radius, you have to travel by train, not by aircraft, because the trains are faster and they want to reduce pollution. So for airlines, the competition is not the other airline. Indigo has about 61% market share, but their competition is faster train and bullet trains. So there are many short distance, Mumbai, Ahmedabad. If bullet train comes, then it will be faster than before. You can go to airport, take a flight, come back, again take your luggage, come out. Before that, by train, you will reach the heart of the city. And there are few airports which are far away. So reaching the city becomes very difficult. You're in Bangalore, it almost takes 1.5 hours to come back to the city. So short distance, train will very soon compete. And if the speed of the train is very good, and in Europe, it is happening already. And for telecom, internet satellite companies are competitor. For homestay, small hotels are competing. That is something, when I traveled, I saw that. And, many cab owners were there, and Ola, Uber, they never had a single vehicle, but they use technology to compete against big people. So many of the big people who were fleet owners have gone out of business. So that is where Ola and Uber have played with technology. co-working space has changed the way business functions. No, so in co-working, you can define how much space you want, what is that you want, and how you want the office. So it is designed as per your thing, but in traditional office that is not possible. So we have analyzed, whenever there is a change in management, those stocks have performed. Few things have not performed. So these are few change in the management which has recently happened. So I am listing out. Now, Rajesh Gopinath, his term is ended. So Mr. Kritivasan will take. In Tech Mahindra, we have discussed. Mohit Joshi will take. Ravi Kumar, who also was in Infosys, has joined Cognizance, but it is not a listed company. No, Anup Bakshi will join MD CEO of ICICI Pru. So he comes from ICICI Bank. He was a ED. So the expectation is very high. So Rohit Java, MD and CEO of Hindustan Lever. Now he has been newly appointed. Prabha Narasimhan has joined Kolpal. So now after his joining, Kolpal has slightly started to rally. They are in oral care, and in the last 6-7 years, there is no top line growth. That is the problem of Colgate. What Prabha Narasimhan will do, let us watch it out. And same Manish Tandon has joined Zensar. So about few days back, Zensar had an analyst meet where he was clear about his vision. So whether he can, and Bank of Baroda, the new CEO who is likely to take over, he is just 52 years. So PSUs also are having a longer tenure. CEOs coming. So that is something to watch out for. But let us see what are the success story. So new management impact. Many people know Sudhir Singh of Coforge. He joined in 2018, and from there the company has given very good return. Britannia became a multi-bagger after Varun Berry joined Britannia. Chandrasekhar, CEO of TCS, he changed TCS. He changed even Tata Group. After he taking over Tata Group, there were a lot of changes. And when we met a lot of management, they said, the focus is to sell non-core business and be in core business, make debt-free, and grow asset-light model. And it has already happened in Indian Hotel. And many companies have demerged from Tata Chemical. There is a huge change which is done. Sandeep Bakshi of ICICI, the stock has almost more than doubled after he took over. Amitabh Chaudhary of Axis Bank, and about 3 years back, I think before COVID or during COVID, there was a presentation uploaded by the management in a management meet. If you go back and read that commentary, they said, we are recruiting IT people and we are not recruiting bankers. That was a game changer there. And post that, the re-rating in the stock and the way stock has performed, you can go back and check. Venu Nair, he was previously with Trent. He did very good job there. So when he joined Shoppers Shop, we were skeptical. We thought Shoppers Shop traditionally was making losses. What is that he will do? Today, Shoppers Shop is profitable, and he joined during COVID, and that is where many people were not too gung-ho about it. But still, during the COVID wave, he has worked out and he has turned the company. And lastly, we have Siddharth Lal. I don't know how many people recollect. In 2000, Eicher Motor, most of the people thought this company is gone, and your bullet is gone. But today, one of the liked two-wheeler or premium two-wheeler comes from Eicher Motor. The way he has transformed that company is amazing, and it has given multi-bagger return. You go back and see in the last 20 years, one of the best performer in Indian stock market has come from Eicher Motor. So most of the best return has come from management. So that is why I've collected data. So it is no recommendation. I'm just presenting few facts and data so that you can take decision based on your expectation. So now CapEx has been the major story in India, where India is central government is spending 10 lakh crore. state government is spending almost 5.5 lakh crore, and the private capex also has started to pick up. And the major part of the capex in private segment is coming from capital goods and in chemicals. So chemicals is one which is seeing almost 40% of the capex happening in India. So the China plus one strategy is helping India in a very big way. So government has introduced Gadi Shakti scheme, where government will monitor. It is called NIP also, National Infrastructure Pipeline. So whatever big project above 100 crore is there, what is the report card, how well it is going, and it will be monitored by a committee. So what has happened is the delay in time is now reduced. The government approval comes very fast, due to which government and taxpayers' money is saved. So now government is working on multiple methods. So now government normally has been inefficient. It is not only in India, even in European countries, even in China, the inefficiency is always there. So now to improve the efficiency of the government servant, government is doing a lot of things. And if this becomes successful, even 50%, that is going to be a game changer. And government recently came with a national logistic policy, where they identified the logistic cost as 13 to 14% of the GDP. So they want to bring it to 8%, which is the global average. So if that happens, our cost of manufacturing will come down. So that is why we are getting connected everywhere. We have very good roads, bridges, tunnels coming. Maybe in next 3-4 years, the cost of logistic in India will reduce humongously. Green India is one more. So there was a balance sheet of Tata Power, where they say by 2027, almost 50% or 40% of their energy will be green energy, and by 2040 or 47, they will be 100% green energy. So the kind of balance sheet reading is also very important to know the focus of those companies. So tourism is one sector we like. There are multiple reasons. Yesterday, there was one analyst meet of a hotel group, where there was few takeaway, post which I have added in the last line. So now post-COVID, airline fares have gone up. They have become very expensive. So traveling abroad is very difficult. I'm not talking about the local travel. Even traveling abroad, the rates are, it is too much. So traveling abroad is very difficult, and TCS on foreign travel is also there. So people are likely travel internally, is what I heard from the management. And that is where they are doubling their inventories in the next 6-7 years. They updated all the analysts. So I think, there are many things which are happening. So here, I will tell you, Mumbai and Chennai gets the highest foreign tourist. So I thought, Taj Mahal is one place where foreigners visit. No, it is Mahabalipuram near Chennai, where the foreign tourists visit. I don't know what reason that is for, but that is what data is saying. So even Kerala, they have marketed themselves well, saying that it is a God's own country. It is a very wonderful tagline, and they have maintained that kind of tagline there. So if you go to Kerala, you will understand. So we expect, because G20 also, we had so much of meeting. So it was marketing about India, and it has been done in a very good way. So I think foreign tourist influx plus Indian tourists locally traveling due to other factors, we will have a very big tourist ecosystem. So hotels, travel agents, and travel booking websites. Ease My Trip is one listed company in that space, and 90% of their revenue comes from only airline booking. So there are many companies ecosystem which will benefit. Even if tourism picks up, even automobile industry picks up. So there are many ancillary industries which are always there. This is about nano urea. So if you Google about nano urea, or if you see the interview of fertilizer secretary in CNBC, you will understand this concept. They say 1 bag of urea can be converted into 500 ml, 100 bottles. So 1 bottle is equal to 1 bag of urea. So that is a cost saving we'll get. So I think last year we fertilizer subsidy alone was 2,40,000 crores. So very soon government will save this amount. By 2025, they feel nano urea will be a reality. Now it is not as much used. Hardly 20% has come outside. But nano DAP is also done. So that is launched by Coromandel. They are putting a factory in Andhra Pradesh. There also the saving, 1 liter of nano DAP can be enough for 1 acre of land is what they have given in the press release. So these are few changes which is happening. Due to this nano urea and nano DAP, many agrochemicals are not performing. So this is where you have to understand. Whatever policy framework government makes, it positively impacts few companies. It negatively impacts many companies. So if you take the case of Bayer Corp or Dhanuka Agri or any agri-related companies, they have not performed. That is due to government efforts to reduce costs for farmers to make farming more profitable. They have done this. So we need to understand the risk factors here. So real estate sector is one sector. So there are, before I go to real estate sector, now there are few countries which have transformed from $2 trillion to $5 trillion economy. So if you see the cases, first was Japan, next it was US, third country was China, the fourth country would be India. We are almost 3.75 trillion dollar economy. Very soon we will be reaching $5 trillion economy. So whenever this has happened, these countries get into a euphoric phase. So I will not take China as an example, but I'll take Japan and US. So whenever this $2 trillion to $5 trillion has happened, the stock market on average has given 15-time return in that 10 to 12-year time period. So here for us, the 2 trillion was achieved in 2019. So whenever we achieve in the next few years, that is going to be the change. That time we were 9,000. Today we are about 18,000. So you can put any number to you. So for me, I don't believe in index. I believe in stock picking. So for me, index is not a main metrics. But whatever said and done, the returns are going to be very good from current level. So if we are going to get that kind of return, any segment which has done very good when the economy has transformed is real estate. So when in 1980s, Japan saw that transformation and there was a big real estate bubble in Japan. Then you had Lehman crisis in US. Then recently in China also you had even today they are facing that after effect of real estate burst. So for us, we are at the starting stage of a bull market. Even in real estate, the bull market, and there are a lot of reforms which has been done. So I was reading a report where the HDFC chairman gave. He said the first time average age of the home buyer is 37 to 38. Our average age, this is what I said in the previous presentation, it is 29 years. So that means, in next 5 to 10 years, many people will be coming to that bracket of buying houses. So the demand for your housing societies and other things will be very high. And there is a transformation after RERA and GST, and COVID, many unorganized people have been shunned out of the industry and funding is also not coming. So there are organized players. So that is where I think a lot of organized player is something you have to track. And there will be allied industries which will benefit. So housing finance, home improvements like tiles or whatever you call it, and cement and other allied sectors are going to benefit out of the real estate boom. So China plus one, everybody knows it. So I will push it. Insurance is an underpenetrated thing, and IRDA in their website has given by 2047, insuring all India is going to be their focus. That means life insurance as a sector and even non-life insurance as a sector should do very good. But due to COVID, this sector was impacted. But yesterday, SDFC Life chairman was there in television. She said things are turning around and things are moving. And after which I saw life insurance stock doing very well. So this is an important place we take data. So no, data is very important. Reading notification is very important. Screener is one more good website where you get good quality data. That is very important. Investment, all these places we take data, and reading is very important. So here I will take only one example. Rahul Dravid. I don't see cricket or I don't watch, but I read a lot of data. In this book, it is about data. It is not about cricket. So what that this book says is, now Sachin Tendulkar was the man who was celebrated, but data says the real man who made a difference to India is Rahul Dravid. So wherever Rahul Dravid has stood on the crease, India has won more. So this is a probability. Whenever Rahul Dravid has been in the crease, India has not lost, and the number of wins for India was very high. Whereas when it comes to record, Sachin Tendulkar has the highest century, but winning percentage has been lower. And when it comes to World Cup, it is a very short format. I think that was 50 overs previously. In that also, the only Indian to score 1,000 run in World Cup is Rahul Dravid. Now, I was surprised. Everybody said he is a very slow man. He is a wall. He doesn't hit. But the data says differently, that he has scored almost 1,000 runs. So market is always boring. If you are in a good stock, you will not have activity. But all of a sudden, when the activity starts, your stock does miracle. Any stock which is doubled or tripled, it happens in a very short time frame. And maybe for 3, 4, 5 years, the stock never performs. So that patience is something which has earned return. That is why I gave this example. So, but all these book reading will help you to be a better person. All these are excellent book. Atomic Habit and Outlier are something different. If you have to become a master, Outlier says you have to spend 10,000 hours or 10 years. So I've crossed more than 30 to 33 years. So 10 years but I've made a lot of mistakes. I've learned from my mistakes. So making mistake is not a mistake. Not learning from the mistake is the biggest mistake. With that, I come to the end of the presentation. If you have any queries, if we have time, we can take some queries.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for the great presentation. It was a pleasure to have you with us. And I think we all enjoyed a lot of your presentations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If there is query, I would like to take it. Otherwise, we can.
Yes, sir. I will check once again. No, sir, no query yet.
Okay. So, you want to ask something, or you think something where I can add some value? Because I have not discussed stocks in this. I thought everybody is learned. So let me not discuss stocks. So, but there are good websites or presentations which is interesting. So
Yes, sir. Sir, how's your experience as an head of research in IDBI?
No, it is a very difficult task, because there are about 22 people under me. So we need to track everything because we have sector specialists.
Yeah.
And the sector specialist, he has better knowledge than me. I can be a senior person, I can head the research, but when it comes to his specialty, I need to listen to him. So we need to listen to him. We need to go back and check data. So it is not an easy task. And in institution we service more of the funds, mutual funds, insurance. Even LIC is one of our clients. So there, the argument which we have to keep is very different.
Yeah.
Because there will be about 10 or 15 people servicing the same client. So we need to have a differentiated research to talk to them. So we need to create that kind of advantage. So for us, we depend too much on data. So data, and we attend almost all the con calls, or whatever is there. We do it. Yesterday there was Mahindra holiday. Mr. Nanda is going to retire. So he called most of the analysts. There were about 40-50 people. So
Yeah.
he laid the roadmap for the next 7 years. It is his pet project. So he laid a roadmap for the next 7 years. He said,
Yeah. C. Charanjot Singh Nanda ji is with us.
Yeah.
So welcome to the chairman of this committee, C. Charanjot Singh Nanda ji.
A very good evening.
Good
Reddy
evening,
ji.
sir.
Hello,
Good
sir.
evening, Mr. Prabhakar. I was very patiently listening to what you said. Your golden words ultimately will mark a way in making our chartered accountants strong to create value and worth through investment in stock markets. I am in fact in Vancouver, Canada.
Oh,
So I thought that I should speak to the participants. If you permit, I can speak for a minute, Mr. Prabhakar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, a warm good evening to you. It is morning in Vancouver, Canada. Very beautiful. I'm sitting in a lawn. Good weather, good breathe. So I would like to tell you a very important thing. See, with the growth of technology, scams are bound to grow. We have to be very ready. Now, cryptocurrency has created so many flutters. They have made so many people abnormally rich. But at the same time, it has duped people. I remember a gentleman coming to me, feeling very happy that his entire portfolio in crypto has increased manifold. But ultimately, he realized that whichever crypto he had bought, that was not actual crypto, it was a fake crypto. So we now, as an institute which was set up an act of parliament way back on 1st July 1949, when the most important document of the democracy, the constitution, was not adopted. You're all aware that the constitution to this great country was adopted on 26th January 1950. The pertinent question that arises is, why the institute was made? Yes, we are financial soldiers to this great country. And with time change, we are now the technical soldiers to this great country. We have to educate people. We have to tell them how they have to go ahead and add value in their initiatives. Investments in stocks, investments in cryptocurrencies, they may have certain far-reaching implications in terms of their taxation issues, in terms of their regulatory measures. So programs like this, and particularly people like Mr. Vivek and Mr. Prabhakar, who have led their entire life into this, they could always come, guide you, and let you see a greater path, a very vigilant, very clear, abundant path where you could grow. I will not speak much, and I'm sorry I interrupted Mr. Prabhakar, but I want 3 things for your kind notice. Number 1, I am always available. This committee has been my passion. I was 6 years chairman of the Committee for Financial Markets and Investor Protection earlier. I was part of the SEBI's SCODA Committee on Disclosure and Accounting Standard. I was part of the SEBI's Primary Market, Secondary Market, Mutual Fund Committee. So first thing I want from you, this year we'll have power-packed sessions. Any area where you want to get involved, feel free to give a call to me. Feel free to write a message to me, a WhatsApp to me. I will ensure that the best of the speakers of the country come and you can have a very fruitful and worthwhile session. Second important thing, I want to tell that we are responding to SEBI's exposure drafts. SEBI comes out with certain consultative papers. So I request all of the participants here, anyone amongst you who's keen to contribute there, Contribute for the cause of the profession. You could very well become a part of the group that prepares the replies to all those consultative papers, suggestions from the ICAI side. So please, as a socialistic perspective, get involved into the institute's initiatives. And third and final thing, the market is at all-time high. People are reaping money like anything. But these times, at times, are very turbulent, because when the market starts going back, it becomes very painful. So people may be realizing handsome gains. Please, as investment consultants, as counselors, tell people. You can't ask them to liquidate their holdings, but tell them to be cautious, to be vigilant. Because good times never last. Maybe the market may go from here to even more unprecedented heights. And that is a feeling which number of the experts have, that market has just started, it has to go high. But still, invest within your means, be disciplined, book profits, book stop losses, because there are certain shares who may not join in the rally. So my last parting request to you is, please manage your portfolio. Please see that your clients' portfolios are managed, and ensure that you reap the benefit of this great bull run. Let us not repent at a later stage that we couldn't sell or we couldn't buy. Value buying, value investments, long-term investments should be left intact. But in case somebody has overstretched, it is time to come back to make money and then say goodbye to indiscipline and be disciplined investors. Thanks, Mr. Prabhakar, for speaking so nicely about the profession. I was listening to you, and I can tell you one thing, that we chartered accountants are totally committed to the cause of this nation. We will ensure that the best of practices are put in the right perspective. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
And thanks,
Thank you.
Riddhi. Thanks a lot, Riddhi, for moderating this session. Thanks a lot, Mr. Animesh. And I ask all of our are there to serve the membership at large. Thanks a lot. Yes,
Thank
Mr. Prabhakar, you were saying something.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunities.
Thank you
Great,
to you,
great.
sir, for arranging such an information webinar. So thank you everyone for the great presentations. It was a pleasure to have you with us. So this concludes the webinar. Thank you for attending. We hope you are learned and enjoyed the session. Thanks again for joining us today. We will
Great. We'll have many more sessions in times to come. Happy learning, happy understanding. Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.